Three, two, one. Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome again to the Desync podcast. We have Mike, myself, and joining us today, super excited to have FortyOne with us, or 40. And man, he's a content creator that I've known for a long time. I used to do GTA RP stuff. And I actually, funny enough, 40, I don't know if you know this, I found you playing Star Citizen for the first time. That was like my first ever stream that I saw. Well, because it's like I didn't really live outside the ecosystem of Star Citizen at the moment. I was like really like locked into that category. And so, I mean, I saw like GTA RP streamers and I saw like people doing other stuff, variety, but man, it was like my interaction with you was, I think you were doing player bounty hunting. And I was like, man, who is this guy? Because he's doing like some solid content. I'm always looking for other awesome Star Citizen creators. So you just like, you know, you were rocking, like I think you were like top on the board, and you're doing cool content. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, who are you? What do you like to do? And I don't know, who is FortyOne?
You reminded me of back when I actually used to be good at Star Citizen. I swear I've gotten progressively worse at every game I play. My name is Adam Parker.
Can you be good?
Can you be good? I don't know. I mean, you can be a good pilot, I guess, or a good FPS shooter. My name is Adam Parker. I go by FortyOne in real life. I've been a content creator off and on since late 2006. I took a big break from 2014 to late 2017 is when I started this current, whatever you want to call it, career attempt, I guess. Outside of this stuff, though, I'm an avid angler. I love fish. This whole back part of my office was supposed to be an aquarium at one point, which unfortunately that fell through. I've been a voice actor since I was a little kid. I used to talk into the cassette player and record myself talking, and then play it back for my grandparents while I was in school. Started really early with that. Got to know a lot about audio engineering and the way microphones and speakers work. I used to build speakers out of magnets in school for art projects. I created a really awful, I forget the word from it now. It's when something can move without energy and infinitely. Perpetual motion device. I made one out of magnets, and I called it that, but it only lasted like 3 hours and the magnet died. I got into this kind of audio thing at a very, very early age, but I never had my first real, I guess, successful role until a game called Escape from Tarkov that came along, which your last guest was very familiar with. And ever since then, it's been little things here and there, trailers, work in progress games, indie games coming up. I'm in quite a few of those coming up right now. But other than that, I'm kind of figuring out like really what I should do as a next move with my career. Like streaming is, I'm not the only one, obviously. It happens to a lot of people every day. Successful streamers kind of just plateau, and then they kind of just start to say, uh-oh, you know, I got to really start planning the next move. And that's kind of where I am right now. I got with an agency that's helping me land not only voice roles, but spots at conventions where I can go as a guest and have people take pictures of me and do signage and guest panels. I just did one very recently, actually. That was a lot of fun. And I think that's kind of the direction I want to go. And I had so much fun at this. And this was off the cuff. This was somebody that I met on Twitch that lived 2 hours from me. He was like, dude, you should come to this convention. We had a guy cancel last minute. And I know the owner. So I'm like, oh, well, let me see what could happen. They ended up paying for my hotel, paid me to go there. I made these crappy banners from Staples with it in like 10 minutes on their web app. And I go there, and it's an anime convention, and I'm in all of these military shooter looter games, you know, and I go there, and there's a line out the door of people that I've never met that know me, love what I do, and wanted to pay to have my signature. And it was just last month when I'm just like, you know what, this is absolutely what I want to do as a career: be in the booth and be on the road. It's awesome. It really is.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's sick, man. Dude, we're so glad to have you.
I'm happy to be here. I watch you two on YouTube almost every day. Usually, Mike, I put you on when I go to bed at night. Berks, I usually watch you during coffee in the morning because your guys' upload schedules are a little opposite of each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
dude, the thing you're looking to go into plus fishing, like being into that, do you think it's going to allow you to? Because I I'm sure you did this too. We look similar ages. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you want to say it or not, but I'm
I'm
38.
34 years old.
Perfect. All right.
You're
So we're like,
38? Okay.
yeah. So the Saturday morning ESPN2 like fishing shows when I was a kid, that was like all I used to love that stuff. And all I
I
used
was
to
on
think
one of
about,
those when I
get
was
out of
5.
here.
When I was 5 years
Oh,
old.
that's
Me and my
sick.
little brother in Waddington, New York. I don't remember the big bass angler's name, but we were in a commercial with him. And I won
That's
2 fishing poles in a casting contest he did against kids like twice my age. I still have it. It's in the room next to me, actually. I can show it to you
hell
if you
yeah.
wanted to see it.
That's so
Like
sick.
with what you
Yeah.
want to do and going on the road, it sounds like perfect. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I know you live in Florida, so I don't know if you're more into saltwater fishing or freshwater fishing, but the opportunity for freshwater is like everywhere, right? So that would be
It's
fun to
everywhere, yeah.
combine the two. Combine the two.
I've actually never been saltwater fishing ever.
I went
Not once in my
once.
life. Once?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
expensive. The gear is a lot more expensive than freshwater is.
Yes. It's
The
the only
line's
time
got
I
to be
ever got.
heavier. The rod's got to be rated for more. The rod's got to have less give or whatever the word
Yeah.
is for it. I'm not a professional by any means. I don't know the verbiage for half of the stuff. Okay. It's just whatever my grandpa used to call it when I was 8.
Who
I still
cares?
call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Who cares? Everybody
Guys,
fishes
I-
differently.
I got to be honest
Exactly.
with you.
Never done it.
Guys, I hated fishing for the longest time. Really.
I mean, it could be
I
gross.
hated fishing. But let me finish, okay? Then last August, I had a magical experience salmon fishing in Washington and river fishing. Have you
Also
guys
best
ever been?
place for it.
Have you been?
I haven't been, but that's some of the best salmon fishing you can do up there.
Dude.
I lived not on a river, but very like within walking distance of one. So I would go and there was trout in the river and stuff. So I never went salmon fishing, but I went trout fishing.
Dude, my mind was changed about fishing whenever I did that. And literally all you're doing all day is, and you guys are like, yeah, that's the whole point. But literally all I'm doing all day is just casting, it'd go down a little bit, you reel it in, cast again, it go down a little bit, you reel it in, you wait for the person next to you to cast. It's loaded, like shoulder to shoulder. People are fishing.
Retrieve.
Yeah. And I ended up catching a few. It was awesome. But man, I think that for me, it kind of opened my eyes up to why people fish, why it's relaxing for people, because I think like it was something that I tried as a kid and I was like, oh man, like this is really boring and blah, blah, blah. But it's funny because there's so many things that, you do as a kid and then you grow up, you do them again and you're like, oh wait, I get it. Like sleeping, for example, naps. You're like, naps fucking suck when you're a kid. And then you do them and you're an adult and you're like, I love this. It's my favorite part of the day.
Rediscovering naps in your 30s was one of the greatest things ever.
Oh my God.
It really was.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I've watched a few of your fishing videos when you first started posting them. And I was like, man, this is so cool that you're pivoting into this. It's something you enjoy, obviously. So, man, I'm excited for you. Do you still do the Fiverr stuff as well?
No, the Fiverr I ended up taking down because
Okay.
if you don't get any activity on there after a while, they put you really low on the list. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll take it down for now and bring it back at a different time. Unfortunately, I had to do the same thing with the fishing channel. It didn't really get any traction. And if you guys know how the algorithm with everything nowadays works, if you go long enough without any engagement, it really starts to hurt after a while and gets really hard to come back from. So I put a lot of things on hold right now while I'm in this like decisive transitionary period in my career.
Cool.
And unfortunately, the fishing channel, which yes, those videos, that's one thing I'll be egotistical about. I nailed those videos and I thought they were really good. The algorithm just wasn't there for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, man, it's me and Mike talked about this on one of our previous episodes, which is some of our favorite videos we've ever made are also the ones that have the least amount of views. Like my most popular video of all time, maybe you saw it. I know Mike has. It's called like the No Ship Started Challenge in Star Citizen. I put like zero effort in that video. It was so low. And the people who watched it were like, oh my God, it's so amazing. I love the video, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, really? Like, I'm not even watching the view count go up. I'm like, oh, really? You like the video? Cool. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm like 100K views, 200K views, 300. I'm like, what is happening? But those are some of the videos that I do put more love and time into. They like get like 2K, 5K, 10K.
That's my That's the story. It's funny you say that starting without a ship challenge, but that popped up in my recommended today.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's
Today.
still yeah,
Yeah.
those type of videos still they'll when people are like in Star Citizen, they'll be like, "You must like this video because everybody else does,"
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Half
But
these videos that end up in the algorithm too, that get millions of views. If you, I don't know, I don't know if I want to give away any super secrets here, but if you look at the source code of a YouTube page and then Control F the term keywords, you can see the tags people use in their videos.
mhm.
Most of them don't have any tags at all. None.
Really?
Weird.
Okay.
None.
That's
I
so
seriously
weird.
go to some 10 million view video and look up its keywords. I guarantee it's all the default ones like video, funny, LOL, all the ones that YouTube gives you by default based on the entertainment section that you put the video under.
Right.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
interesting.
Trust me, I get pissed off about views all the time, and I've done a lot of research into why some channels or why some videos work and why some don't. And half the time, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah. That's what
It's
like I love YouTube, but that's also why I think I like Twitch too sometimes or like prefer it is you just go live and whoever's there, you just hang out and it is what it is for that day and then you turn it off and you come back and it is what it is the next day and you don't have to like do all this extra stuff
In a
that
sense, it's
like all this
easier.
extra thinking. Yeah, in
Yeah,
that sense it is, right? But
in that
the
sense, yeah.
but then there's like the consistency or the whatever, all
And
these
there's
other
the hard
things.
parts. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like everything has its positives and negatives, but that is what I would say is a positive about Twitch streaming. Like negative is the time consumption. It's insane. It's
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
it's a full-time job if it's something you're trying to do, something
Hmm.
you're trying to chase, something you've really got to want it, really
Yeah,
dedicate the hours to it and be consistent with it,
I
or
was
it's just
telling
not
my
going to work.
100%. I was telling my wife the other day, like I love, 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 love Twitch streaming, but man, I wish I was a YouTuber because
Yeah.
I took the weekend off. We woke up whenever, which was like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. for us because we wake up really early. So that was late for us. And then we like
Yeah.
made breakfast, went for a walk, and then I started, doing stuff. And it was like for me, I start my stream, I roll out of bed, start my stream basically.
I
So I
don't know
don't
how you
have
guys can
that
do that.
morning.
I don't know if you ever heard of Vader, the streamer Vader. He's an RP streamer too.
yeah.
He told me the same thing you just said like 5 years ago. He's like, man, I just wake up and I just stream. I was like, you don't eat breakfast or anything. No, just get on and start streaming, mate. How do you do that? How?
Yeah, I
I
take a
cannot
shower.
function without breakfast. I can't.
I, I take a shower. Sometimes I have caffeine, but for the most part, just roll out of bed and do it.
God, you guys are
Yeah.
inhuman. Berks, do you do that?
I do that, honestly. And I've
Come
been
on.
doing less of that lately because my schedule has been, and I mean, Mike, you probably noticed because I've been hanging out on your stream, is I
Yeah.
wake up, I do YouTube and like YouTube, like stuff get over to my editor, or like I'm planning content and then I start my stream. And then after my stream, I'm either doing, stuff for the podcast or maybe more YouTube stuff. I've been really tuning up how much I've been doing lately with YouTube. I'm trying to get consistent. I hired an editor, but man, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, 40. Is, Mike's really in a sweet spot when it comes to like YouTube, and I feel like my algorithm's been getting railed lately.
You're doing like weird things where like videos that I see and I'm like, yo, that one, I know that one's good because we talked about like the content of the video, and then it's not doing well, and then other ones are doing like they're all
Yeah.
everything that I think you've put out recently. I thought was like cool, engaging stuff, but I'm seeing this from other creators in the Star Citizen space too, which is
Yeah.
everybody who's putting out video like game content. Like I played the game. This is what happened, which is I think is the best content for games. Like period is I love those like Daisy story games or videos. I love the Rust story videos and stuff. We've talked about that a little bit here. I think that's the best content on YouTube. That's my favorite stuff. That's my personal favorites
Yeah.
for gaming at least. And then when people in Star Citizen are doing it now, it's so weird. I even was talking to somebody about we had a Star Citizen roadmap update where there was lots of gameplay things on the list, and all of the Reddit threads and all of the Spectrum threads were about the one ship that they talked about. It I don't understand. I don't understand. It's super weird, but I also think it's like a right now thing because those channels used to pop, and now they're not popping as much because Star Citizen's in this like very similar to where you're feeling 41 with your career. Star Citizen is in this like weird transition period, right? Where it's like
It
figuring
is.
itself out, and
Yeah.
uh, so are so's the algorithm, or so's the audience. You know, if you want to, apply audience to algorithm in on YouTube, they're figuring themselves out right now, and it's making me uncomfortable because that's the kind of content I know Berks wants to make. This kind of content I know I want to make, and I'm looking and it's like, what's happening, bro? This is weird.
It is really
Yeah,
weird.
it is. I think a lot of content on YouTube is seasonal.
Yeah,
And nobody likes to talk about it for some reason. I think that's a
but
big
yeah. I
factor.
mean,
The time of
summertime,
year.
people are outside,
Yeah.
especially Europeans. They don't
Yeah.
have air conditioning and stuff. Nobody's sitting inside. They're having a great time outside, living their lives.
Streaming too, right? Streaming is seasonal. A lot of people
Yep.
don't like to admit it, but it's it comes in waves, you know? And it's like
Yeah.
you just hope that the low wave is higher than your last low wave, you know, and then your
Yeah.
high wave is higher than your last high wave. But man, sometimes it's like you're doing everything right, and it's just like it's up to the developers. You know, he's someone who I know
If
you don't
hook
play
yourself on one game, right?
right,
Which is
right.
What we've
Exactly.
done, at least.
That's the benefit of being a variety streamer. I know 40 you were streaming Tarkov for a while. I know you don't do that as much anymore. But I bet you could really feel that same type of energy in the Tarkov space as you do Star Citizen, with like it's really up to the developers to make this game interesting to watch, you know?
It absolutely is. And I think that's why Star Citizen, like I've been so vocally negative about it, is because, I've been vocally negative about Tarkov too. And I think the reason for that is because both Battlestate and CIG are just repeatedly making the same blunders. Like Battlestate has almost followed in CIG's footsteps exactly with the whole, hey, we're making Tarkov, but we're going to slow down on it. And now we're going to start making Arena too. They did the same thing with Star Citizen and Squadron 42 over at CIG. And I think, it's like I've already dealt with that once. And it's like, this other game I'm into is doing it too. It's like, man, like I really got to wait 20 years for both these games that I really love to come out, let alone one that I actually got the voice act in. It's like, man, it sucks. And it's like,
Yeah.
and
Dude.
your audience can tell it sucks too. And you're just getting burnt out of the same stupid mistakes made by the same goofy developers over and over and over again.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Of course.
Do you guys ever like you're either streaming or interacting with someone and they're like, oh man, there's this new alpha game coming out, like you should play blah blah, and I'm like, oh man, I cannot handle another alpha game.
Dude, I'm going through it. I'm going through it right now. Ashes of Creation is. I'm going through it, dude.
That'll be the
I'm
next
like,
one I'm vocally negative about, Ashes.
dude, I'm seeing this the focusing on the visual stuff and Alpha 2 and talking about Alpha 2, Alpha 2 over and over and over again, but then like no comprehension to the backer of the game of when this might be a thing, and it's like it always feels like it might be soon, and then you have like the content creators in that space speculating that it might be March of 2023. Okay, what so it's like, yeah, that game is another one. Like that's my genre of game, is like fantasy MMORPG, and
and
that
the
one's killing me
speculation's
too.
always so wildly far-fetched, isn't it?
Of course, because you have no information, so you're just talking out of
Remember all the Halo
out of your
Infinite
ass.
speculation for that game came out? It's like they'd come out with like a Lego toy, and like one of the Spartans' feet would have like a scar on it. But like, here's a 10-minute video on why the scar on that Spartan's foot could mean Halo Infinite's coming out this week. It's like, really, dude, like a 10-minute video because of a Lego action figure being deformed. It's like, I mean, I got to give it to them. They made a 10-minute video out of literally nothing. I can't do that.
You gotta love the passion sometimes.
It's there. You can tell a lot of these guys.
Yeah, man.
I feel like that happens.
And then the game comes out. And then it's like the passion just dies.
Exactly.
Maybe you're wrong about everything.
It's so funny. People are more excited about the upcoming like excitement of the game, like the ride up to the release, the ride up to the patch, than actually playing it. And this is like why I get really annoyed when people are like, oh, like this game's dead or that game's dead or whatever. or, oh, people don't do this anymore. Oh, like it's because of this or that. When usually it's just people played it, they enjoyed it for a moment, right? And then they moved on. Like most gamers aren't like us three, you know, or maybe 40, I'm speaking a little bit too much for you. But most people, they pick up a game for a couple hours, you know, maybe couple weeks tops, right? But I mean, very short burst. Like I think the average amount of like playtime on a game for most people is probably under 40 hours. I would say for most people, like you pick up
people, yeah.
Skyrim, you pick up you know, whatever game. A lot of people are not finishing that game, I think. But I don't know.
Yeah, I used to always be like, oh, this game is awesome, I'm going to see it the whole way through. But I'm at the point where I barely finish games nowadays too.
Same.
I think it's happening to a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just we're not kids anymore, maybe as well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
could be.
Like part of it is just like having more responsibilities or whatever. It just makes it suck to go through to like I don't know.
Are video games getting worse, or are we just getting old? Our video games.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm proud of myself. I played through Diablo, but I mean that wasn't a very long campaign. I liked it. Everyone's always talking. Yeah, but for me, I mean, I didn't have that much time. It was my first Diablo game, and I had a lot of fun with it. And a lot of people talk shit about the game. I thought it was good. I don't know, but I'm not like, I'm not hardcore Diablo fan or anything, so I don't know what's wrong with it. I just was like, yeah, this is sweet. Then clicking buttons, monsters exploding, love it.
Yeah.
I didn't play it, but I mean, I watched you play. I watched a couple of people playing. It looks good.
Yeah.
I didn't have any complaints, but I think it's also like there's something to say with like social media these days. It's a lot easier to complain about video games, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the stuff that stands out. So you have bigger communities of people hating on video games. It's like, this is like really funny. I don't know, 40, if you've heard of this. There's a Star Citizen Refunds Reddit page.
I read it all the time.
Yeah. And that's not the only one, by the way. I think there was like a Cyberpunk Refunds, and there's like all these different games where people have dedicated them. And then you have this, you know, edge group of people who are going to Twitch streams of the game they hate and actively trying to ruin that streamer's experience playing that game because they hate the game, right? Or argue against them or whatever. And
there's a word for that. I don't remember what it is though.
But
start with a G.
Wait, G? What are we talking about?
Griefer.
Oh, griefer. Okay. Fair enough. I was like, G word, what the? But I was gonna say like asshole. But it's like I've never.
Couldn't say. All right.
There are games that I've really hated before, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I have never felt the urge to berate that game, to, you know, talk about how shit it is, go to other people and spend all of my time and energy like berating the game. I don't know. Like,
just going out of your way to make sure other people don't enjoy it because you didn't.
Wait. Yeah. I can't say it.
Why not?
No, I'm just kidding. Like this whole thing around me is that you've built your community around hate. You've built your entire community is about hating Star Citizen. Like that's what they all say. And meanwhile, it's like, no, I just really like it and I really want it to be good. And I really don't want things to continue to be shit all the time. Like what do you want from me, dude? Like I'm just every single day I just say what I feel in the moment that I feel it. Dude. That's it. Sorry to tell you, most of the time if we're talking about Star Citizen, it's gonna be shit. If we're talking about I don't know, pizza, it's gonna be awesome. You know, like I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well,
that's my issue with Tarkov. I care too much about it, and I get extremely pissed off when developers make stupid decisions. It's like, why didn't you ask somebody else before making that decision? You know?
Oof. Yeah.
It's like
we've had those moments.
Yeah, it's like being a parent, having your kid flunk out of school. You love your kid to death, but goddamn, does it piss you off that they flunked out of school when you know damn good and well they have no excuse for it?
No. Yep.
It's just come on, guys.
Did you guys play this? Did you test it?
Exactly.
You know? And it's like, I don't think that's the unreasonable criticism that I'm talking about. But there are games that I for sure do not like. And man, I think I've told you about this, Mike. Have I told you my dual universe story?
Fuck that game.
Wait, why do you say fuck that game?
That was the.
Did you play it, 40?
I'm looking it up right now.
I was
Dual
so
universe?
excited. Yeah, this is. I guess it's supposed to be like Space Engineers or whatever, but for me, it was all right. Subscription model, which I think is a good model for certain types of games.
Sure.
Lengthy games. I think there's problems with it, but I think a subscription model for an MMO is a good way to go because it forces the developer to try to keep the attention of the player to keep them playing instead of get them to buy this cosmetic or get them to buy this spaceship or get them to buy this thing, and then they got your money and then they don't care whether or not you played. At that point, when you're playing, you're just costing them server costs. So
fair enough.
that was the first thing that stuck out to me. The second thing was like, all right, they tested their networking first with this game, and I was like, all right, cool. They showed that they had like 1,000+ headless like NPCs or players walking around their servers, and the frame rate was like bang on solid. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then it released, and I played it, and it was like this like 4-hour long ridiculous like new player tutorial. It was it was so bad. It was just like the worst experience I ever had. I played it on launch. I got like multiple offers in my email to play it as a sponsored thing, and I was like, no, go fuck yourself. And I've played like dumb mobile games on sponsors and stuff, like, and like I don't really care. I'll do most sponsors, and I said no to that one, and it's just like I hated that game. So I don't know what your experiences was, Berk. I kind of jumped in on it, but
no, it's okay. I kind of had a different 40. Have you ever played Satisfactory?
I was just playing it yesterday.
Okay, great.
I love that game.
So great game. That's kind of what the beginning of Dual Universe reminded me of. You get like the little materials, you stick them in a machine, it makes another thing, and that makes more stuff. And you're building stuff together. It wasn't as simple, but it was at least interesting enough. It was set in space. You could build spaceships. It's voxel based. So I'm having a great time with my org. We're rolling probably 40, 50 deep. We're gathering resources. We're flying over to this other planet. It takes you 5 hours to get there. No joke, 5 hours real time to fly from like planet to planet. Oof. And I remember we had like set up base on this certain spot and we were ready to go. And, we got all our tiles going and we're like building out this massive spaceship that we were like all putting our life into. We're all like time, energy, like we're going 3 a.m. runs to get gold on this moon. And we finally get everything together and we buy our last piece and we put the ship together and we park it next to a spaceport. I hit end on the stream. I come back 4 hours later after taking a nap. All right, I was up all night. And the spaceship, gone. Nobody knows where it went. Nobody knows where it went. It's just gone. It's gone. And everyone's like freaking out. Like the org's like chat's lighting up. Nobody knows where it is. And we're like talking to each other. We get an admin involved, like, oh, did we forget the permissions maybe on the ship? Because it was a permission system. Hey, everyone can access this item. Only your org members can access this item. Whatever. Turns out, after an investigation done by one of the admins, that what was happening was they were so understaffed for the game that they were allowing players, they were hiring certain players from one org to moderate the game for them. One of these players didn't like me because I was a streamer. I still have no idea why. That's all the information I got. I was a streamer. He saw me, didn't like me. Deleted my entire ship with his admin powers. Deleted the entire ship. Literally, X amount of time worth of work. And they restored the ship. But for me, the damage had already been done. I was like, fuck this game. That's so dumb. That is so unbelievably stupid. That, like, first of all, that they would allow that to happen, that people were still actively, they've since, I've heard, stopped allowing players to moderate the game, FYI. But for months after that, they were allowing them to do so. And I was just like, man, I can't trust a game that runs like this. No way. I'm not going to put any more time and energy. That was like the nail in the coffin for me. But, but what my whole point is I'm not going screaming from the rooftops, going to Dual Universe streams, being like, this game's a scam. You're an idiot if you play this game. And I get comments like that for Star Citizen.
Oh, every video.
Every video, every day.
Everything.
Yeah. And it's so interesting to me that you're either a Star Citizen hater or a Star Citizen lover. Not a lot of people in between.
Is it the same with Tarkov? I know Berks has played it. Your brother plays FortyOne. Is it similar there? Or like if people are really critical about Tarkov, are there white knights defending it in the same way that with Star Citizen?
But Tarkov doesn't come under the amount of scrutiny that Star Citizen does because it's not monetized at all. You just buy the game and that's it. If they sold like guns or clothing, I don't even think if they sold clothing. I think if they sold shit that made the game easier for you, like Star Citizen does, yeah, they'd probably call it a scam too. Every once in a while, you get the perpetual pipe dream development comments, you know, especially because of the tension in the region and the war over there too, which is really understandable.
Yeah.
But other than that,
absolutely.
I can't recall, at least off the top of my head, of like Tarkov ever going through a phase of where people called it a scam.
No.
Maybe a couple times with like when the cheating epidemic was really bad, which it still is. People said that Battlestate banned cheaters just to sell more copies of the game.
Oh, true. I would always see that comment.
And then Nikita went on Reddit and was like, "You're all." I don't know if I can swear. Can I swear in here?
Yeah, it's fine.
Nikita was like, "You guys are all fucking stupid. Like, we would never do that. You're idiots." Like, literally just called all the accusers like all kinds of words, and like everybody loved him for that.
It's so funny too, because I don't think that people understand that when a cheater gets banned, they don't go buy new accounts. They're buying used accounts for pennies on a dollar, or a lot of people are getting their accounts hacked by these people who are cheating. Stolen accounts and then used accounts, right? People who are like, I don't want to play anymore. I'll sell it on this whatever website, because you're not supposed to do that, right? You're not supposed to sell your account. But yeah, I mean, they're not getting new money from banning cheaters. So this idea that's been perpetuated is just not true. Now it'd be a little bit different in a game like Star Citizen, right? Because if you ban someone who was a cheater and they had like, if they were smart, they wouldn't do this. But if they had like all their mega ships that they've bought, then you know, they wouldn't have those anymore. Like you said, or if it was like an EOD account, that's not as much of a hit as like a $2,000 spaceship, right?
What's funny though is the majority of cheaters I've ever ran into, at least the ones I assume are, there's no way to prove it, but the majority of like deaths I've had where I've thought the person was cheating were EOD accounts, which is just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I've heard that it's not as much of an indicator anymore, and
it's really not. No,
some people probably even do that on purpose, right? Because they're like, oh, he's EOD, he's probably not cheating.
I'd assume so. Yeah, like as a first line of defense against getting banned. Yeah. It's kind of like putting the EDT sign in your front yard, even if you don't have the system. It's like, well, anybody with a half an ounce of common sense isn't going to break into the house just in case there's the chance. You know, so I'm sure that's why some cheaters probably do that too.
That's crazy.
That's interesting. I never thought of that as like a thing, because I don't play the game. No, I had an EOD
also don't
account,
cheat, right? So
yeah, hopefully you don't.
If I cheated with how bad I am, like how
you'd still be bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, so funny.
Yeah, you see that on like Overwatch when they do like, there's a guy called Sam on YouTube. He does a hacker hunt show, and like a lot of the cheaters he catches like have zero game sense and are still terrible.
Oh my god,
they're aimbotting and headshotting as soldier, but like they get killed by like the flanking Sombra because they just have no game sense.
Right. Yeah, and it's
why would they have to learn it, right?
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no point in it.
I mean, why do people cheat in the first place, right? They're cheating because they want to have an advantage that they don't have to work for, you know? And probably the most mind-blowing thing to me is that cheaters who do have like an ounce of skill and they combine those two things together, they act like they're actually good. Like they kill like someone who's really good and they're like, oh man, I like really own that guy, blah, blah, blah. Like I've seen these videos, I'm sure you've seen it, of cheaters who will go kill streamers and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this crazy shot on him. Oh, he so got owned, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, cheaters that don't do it for money are more often and not extremely vocal. So I used to do manual reviews for Unreal Tournament 2004 ages ago, back in 2004, if it wasn't obvious. And you begin to learn like a lot of character traits of the type of people that cheat in video games. And it's funny because it got to the point where it was so easy for me to tell if somebody was cheating. I could catch them if they weren't fighting somebody. Like by the way they behaved, if they were just like walking to an objective and nobody was around. And
Mm.
one of the most obvious things is what I used to just call like the first person 1,000-yard stare, where they're just running straight and they're not moving their mouse at all. They're just WASD like around corners. And I know a lot of people do that because they're like taking a drink of like soda or something, like getting ready for the match to start. But this was 20 years ago. This
Yeah.
was people that were navigating entire maps without moving their mouse at all. You know what I mean? And that would be
Yeah.
like one of the dead giveaways. There's a lot of
Interesting.
dead giveaways, and most people know what they are nowadays too. But when I started playing Overwatch, that's when I really started to realize that there's a cheating epidemic, not just in Tarkov, but it's in like every game.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. Most people don't realize it because most people, and it's not their fault. They're just ignorant to like how human like cheats look nowadays. Like there are cheats that look like it's a human. And unless you've sat there and watched that specific cheat for an hour, you'll never know it's a cheat. You'll have
Did you see
absolutely
this
no way.
Call of Duty thing that they're doing with the ghosts or whatever?
No, what are you
That
talking about?
like, so
I don't
apparently,
play
if you,
COD.
all right, yeah, so this is really cool. Jack Frags posted a video maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that had Call of Duty, one of the, I don't know, I don't play COD either, but I thought this video was so cool and interesting that if you're a suspected cheater, they have this system that can show you a ghost that nobody else sees but you. And if you lock onto it behind a wall, bang, they got you.
Wow.
Really?
That is so genius.
Yeah. So and it's like you don't know if it's a player or not. And they're feeding it to you and it's not affecting anyone else, and they're just clapping people, and it's super super cool. I'm sure they'll get
Wow.
around it somehow, but yeah.
You know, Tarkov did something like that for a while in the early days. There was a little itty bitty garage on Shoreline down near the boat extract.
Okay.
And it had a door that didn't have a key. It still doesn't have a key, but it had a filing cabinet inside of it that you could loot. So anybody that looted it,
Interesting.
kind of like the ghost thing in COD, like you can't loot that. So when people
Yeah.
do, red flag.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know?
Interesting.
Because there are cheats that can unlock doors, or you can just phase through the door. You can literally go through walls, and with some of these cheats in Tarkov, like go into spectator camera, go like up on a building, and then teleport to it. It's all you can see it all on YouTube. It's they're so intricate nowadays. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I've seen like the rainbow glowing teleporting flying PMC before. Like
where they got the knee up and they're floating around.
Yeah,
Like, how do they
absolutely.
even come up with this stuff.
It's getting crazy, man. And man, I'm pretty
It's a whole
sure
industry.
It is a whole industry. It's $1 million industry.
Yeah, multi-million dollars at this point, right? Because video games are the biggest entertainment industry in the world now. Like we're talking about $150 billion a year between mobile and console PC, right?
That's wild.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so you'd imagine that cheating is taking a decent, not a, probably not $1 billion, but probably tens of millions at least, right?
Yeah.
And it could be all combined $1 billion, who knows, right? But there's definitely a market for cheating.
If it was.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised
Not
either,
the
but
slightest.
there's no way for us to know, right? Like those aren't metrics that are being tracked.
They're not shared messages.
So exactly. But man, I do get worried thinking about where Star Citizen could potentially go into cheating. Because I
saw a video on it.
Right. And
Airwing Marine, I think what's his name? The
Avenger
really good
One.
pilot. Avenger One, he did a video on that.
He did do a video on it, and there are cheaters in Star Citizen today. However, I wouldn't say it's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I've never seen it.
It's super rare.
I probably have 7,000 hours in the game now, and I have maybe ran into 2 cheaters, and they were both in the same week. They were both in the same week.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's
So
probably the same person then.
maybe the same
Probably.
person, different
Yeah.
names for sure. But
Yeah.
man, very interesting how that all went down. So in the 7,000 hours I've only seen, I go open up Tarkov, man, and I can run into a couple cheaters in one game session. Feels like at
can.
least, right? And
Yeah.
man, I know like what you said, you can't prove it, but I've had some definitive experiences that were like, that guy was cheating for sure. There's no way. Like this guy
Yeah, you have those
killed.
moments.
Yeah, this guy killed my buddy and it was extremely sus. And so I start sprinting from dorms backwards to like old gas. Like I'm running for it. I'm just like full trucking. And I get probably
That's my favorite retreat route too.
Yeah.
Through those woods between New Gas and dorms.
Dude, and I'm telling you, I book it that way. And I sit at the train yard, that little dip where the red containers are. I'm sitting in that little hole for about 3-4 minutes, just catching my stamina, making sure my food is good. And dude, I hear footsteps running towards me, straight for me. And I'm like, oh God, there's someone here. And I peek up. Dude, I peek up for a millisecond, dead in a millisecond. It's the same guy. He just literally W keyed straight for me. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty sus. Now, was that guy a cheater? I think so. But you never know, right?
Sniper. Either way, it's cheating.
Oh, I wasn't streaming. So
okay, then then
I wasn't streaming. So very suspicious. And this is the reason why in moments like that, I think it's totally fine to report people, right? I don't think reporting someone is a crime at all. And people act like it is. You know, they're like, oh, if you think that guy's sus, oh, that's whatever. But like, I say report him and let the devs sort it out. You know, like give the devs all the information they can. Don't not report someone because they may face less consequences because you didn't report them, right? And you just want to make sure they get the right people, right? So
I dealt with a lot of negativity around trying to catch cheaters. Like I got attacked by probably people that were also cheaters. You know, people saying that that me and Landmark called every death a cheater or something, when no, we never would do something like that. That's just ridiculous. But there's especially I don't mean to derail, by the way. It's still kind of on the same subject, but it's a different game. That's okay if I tell a story about.
There is no derailing.
There is no derailing
wherever we go, man. Yeah,
you rail wherever you want to rail, bro.
So, well, it's still on the cheating subject, and it's about some. I don't really know drama. It wasn't really drama because I wasn't very public about it, and it didn't really get out. I think the people that were coming after me kind of just gave up after a while. I was very avid about playing New World when it came out, and then a year later when Brimstone Sands came out, I really loved that game, and I got a group of friends together and got really good at it. Eventually took over a little town called Weaver's Fen that we owned and we won through a war. And eventually this guild popped up out of nowhere. I'm not going to say the name of it, but it just started taking over areas left and right. And they had a really trolly name, and we lost our zone to them. And was like, oh, you know what, whatever. And then I started getting into Outpost Rush and like the arena. And I'd go up against these people, and they would all have like muskets and bows, and they would just at like 1, 2, 3 shot you. And it's just like, I thought they fixed all this. All of my gear is thrusting resistance. Like I shouldn't be dying in 3 shots to this stuff. So I look more into it, and I start asking around like on forums and stuff. I'm like, is there like a new exploit like we don't know about or whatever? And nobody really knew, but unbeknown to me and everybody else, there was. But only this guild knew about it, and they didn't tell anybody about it.
And they're not sharing.
They didn't share it with anybody.
Dude, I actually think I remember this because I wasn't in at the time, and I heard people talking about it. But continue. This is the first time I've heard it from someone who played.
It was after, so you're probably thinking of the hatchet exploit, where the hatchet
I do remember that.
Stack damage,
I do
and you can
remember
one-shot anybody. This is about a year later, about a month or two before Brimstone Sands came out. There was a method where you could go into arena and drink a potion, like an attack bolstering potion or a whetstone or something. And depending on how, I don't remember the like specifics, but depending on how the match would end, you would leave with the buff still on your weapon, and it would never go away. And you could go into another arena, apply it again, and it would stack with it instead of replacing it.
Interesting.
So you could do this infinitely. So this entire guild did this to the point to where they could one-shot everybody. So they were doing this in Outpost Rush, in the arena, and in wars.
That's
I
brutal.
doubt invasions because nobody played
Yeah.
those. And it got so bad to the point where they took over the whole server. So I said, these guys are cheating. They have to be, because I remember I still don't know that this is a bug at the time. All I know is I'm getting one-shotted in full 625 thrust resistant gear. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I've always been vitriolic against cheaters in video games. So I didn't go to Amazon Game Studios. I wrote an email to Amazon. And I said, listen, AGS is not answering emails. They're not taking this seriously. There's a group of people cheating in your game, killing everybody in one shot, and nothing is being done about it. This is an email I sent to the corporate level. And so they did some looking into it. And then about a few weeks later, it wasn't long after, they released a patch with patch notes that said, fix an exploit with potion stacking in the arena. And then all of a sudden, those guys lost all their land, and a lot of their names never appeared online again. And then after that, because of that, these guys start going into my chat and messaging every viewer in my chat awful things about me, saying I suck at the games I play. I falsely accuse people of cheating left, right, and center. I'm getting all these DMs of screenshots of even a couple of people that were on my friends list at the time that I thought were cool people doing this, all because I went out of my way to get rid of people that were ruining the game for other people.
Crazy.
That's why I love that point you made so much earlier, Berks. It's like you people will hate you for going after cheaters. But the fact of the matter is, most of the time, those people are usually cheaters too. And it's more common than people think, because cheating is such an epidemic.
I absolutely think that if you're defending cheaters, you might as well be one, But
exactly. Yeah.
It's like exploiting too. Do you guys think that, well, Mike, do you have something to say before I change the subject a little bit?
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. What I was going to say was, do you guys think that knowingly exploiting is cheating?
Yeah, I do. I'll adamantly say yes.
I absolutely think so. Yeah. And I think that people will come out and say the genuine argument is that, oh, if it's in the game, then you shouldn't get banned for it. Oh, it's just part of the game. Yeah. But then you have issues.
The invisible bug in Star Citizen right now is a perfect example. You let the person know that they're invisible. Like, hey, dude, you just killed me. You're invisible. And nothing.
Wait, that's still not fixed?
Still.
No.
That's been in the game for like 5 years.
No, this is like a new version of it. But yeah,
is it the one? So it's not the one where you get in the thing and then get out and then you're invisible?
No,
it's not that one.
It's nobody knows why or how.
Okay,
nobody knows. It's randomly happening. Like it's really funny. I watched a video today of a guy who's like new. He had a ton of ships, so he's not new to Star Citizen, but he was like sharing it with this community for the first time. I think his name's Anarchy. He makes Daisy videos. Bunch of people in my chat knew who he was. It's my first experience with him, but he was like showing his friend the game and everything, and then at the end of the video, he shows himself 1v5ing, 1v6ing. Like, I'm sorry, he was in like a good combat ship, but he never got locked on the entire time, right?
Really?
And then at the end, he goes, "Yeah, people were calling me a cheater." Like he didn't know he was invisible. And I was watching the video. I go, "This dude's invisible. He has no idea he's invisible, and he's making this video showing how awesome he did, but he has no idea that that they couldn't see him, right?" Because I was like, nobody locked onto him. Nobody ever shot back. Like, that doesn't happen in fights in Star Citizen.
Why wouldn't that ever occur to him, though? That's what I don't get.
Because
like,
he's new. He doesn't play the game.
Oh, he's new to the game. Okay.
Yeah, he was like fairly new to the game. He had like a big account, like he had a bunch of ships, but I don't think he plays that regularly because he was a DayZ creator. So I imagine he's mostly playing DayZ and spending most of his time making content for that game or whatever, right? But when he felt like doing something else, he played this. And yeah, it was just, he didn't even know, right? So that's not cheating because it's not knowingly exploiting, like you said.
I would agree.
But if I knew I was invisible and then I went to like a jump town or something and was just clapping everybody and being like, "Look at all this maze I got," it's like,
right, yeah,
it's fucking cheating, right?
Yeah,
right.
Cheating, yeah.
And it's interesting. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Berks. I
thought
you were gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was just gonna say that. There's a line that gets drawn somewhere because some people would say like missiles, for example, are cheating because if you don't know, basically decoys aren't working at the moment.
Yeah,
like
they can't miss right now, right?
Well, sometimes
It's
they
random.
miss. It's random. But
Okay.
decoys, literally, you'll drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then nothing comes out of your ship. You'll just hear the boop, 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 boop,
Okay,
and then
so it's a bug. I was wondering what the
it's a
hell was
bug.
going on with that.
And so some people would say,
Wow.
you know, that's an exploit, but it's like, is it an exploit? And so lines kind of start to get blurry with that kind of stuff. I would say that there's some stuff that's definitive, and it's hard for me to describe, but I think that if you gain a obvious advantage over other players using it, then I would
Knowingly
say
using it.
knowingly using
Yeah.
it, I would say that's an exploit, and I would say that's cheating. But I mean, yesterday I got missile spammed in Atmo, and I was in an arrow, and I decoyed like 10 times, and I still died. You know, so it's like,
And you can't do anything about it.
I can't do anything about it.
There's
Literally,
there's nobody you can email, be like, dude, this guy's just blowing everybody up on the server. Can you like kick him for 3 hours?
Oh,
There's nothing
well.
you can do.
yeah, and it's not necessarily because this stuff like this is happening constantly because everyone uses missiles. Why wouldn't you?
I mean,
It's
they're
like-
an integral part of the game. I mean, there's that argument again, but yeah.
Right.
You
It'd
know,
be like
it
if there was a
sucks.
bug with it was like if there was a bug with a certain type of PS ammo in Tarkov, right? And it's like, oh, this unknowingly every time you reload the damage stacks or something. And then
Could
it's
you
like
imagine?
exactly,
That'd be
right?
crazy.
And my point
my
is
God.
like that's how crucial missiles are to Star Citizen, I think.
Yes, you're
Because
that's a very
every
good
ship has
analogy.
them.
Yeah.
Every ship
Yep.
has them. So, man, it's like, where do you draw the line? Because, like, I want to say that missiles are cheesy. I don't use them personally, but it's like, man,
I do
where do you
against
draw the
AI.
line? It's tough. Wait, what'd
I
you
use it
say?
against AI because
Oh,
AI
that's
almost
fine.
never
You
flare
can't
them.
cheat against AI. I don't think.
I mean, if there's something to gain an edge over other players by killing AI, I think
Sure,
maybe it'd be
like money,
considered.
maybe.
Yeah.
But like in Star Citizen, money doesn't mean anything. Reputation doesn't mean anything.
It
Nothing.
means absolutely nothing. I had a big
So-
argument with somebody about that the other day.
Yeah, you want to see a big explosion? Use a missile. Who cares? It's cool. Looks
Yeah.
awesome. Fuck it.
Nothing
Right?
wrong with
But
that.
but when things are on the line at some point, you know, maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's a different story then, right? But
You know,
Yeah.
when you
I don't know.
tally and A2 spam, you know, a tank event that the devs help plan with exploiting and stream sniping, you know, that might be a problem. But
Oh,
nobody talked
man.
about that for some
Dude.
reason. I don't know why, but
Dude,
a lot of people did.
So,
I didn't know who these guys were until this event apparently.
me
Oh,
either. I had
man.
no idea they existed.
So if you guys are listening and you don't know what they're talking about, essentially, FortyOne and a bunch of other creators got together for this big tank ground battle. Was there any air support as well, or is it just ground and tanks?
we were allowed one ship for something on each team. I don't remember what it was. I think
Probably
it was
like
a medical ship. we were
medical-
allowed.
So
medical.
Everybody was on the ground.
Everyone's
Everybody
on the
was
ground.
on the ground except the medical
Okay.
ship.
You
could be
guys-
used for.
Are you
Yeah.
guys in a location that's fairly private, or are you near a location?
We
on-
went to a place that was one of the random. It was a Riker mission, Mike.
Right.
It was a retrieval op.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a random retrieval op in the middle
So-
of nowhere on Microtech. So there was like a 1 in 30 chance they got the right location.
Right.
Assuming
But,
they knew them
Oh.
all.
but
Yeah.
also, you know, it's like, sure, but they would have had to have closely had information to find you. So you guys are assuming we can't be 100% sure, but we're assuming they're stream sniping. Okay, actually, I'm not going to give these guys any
We hit our
benefit of the doubt.
screens on when we
No. I take it back. I'm not giving these guys any I typically give people benefit of the doubt. I know who these guys are. So Mike, you've heard of them now. They're GrieferNet. And
Yeah, and
Yeah, GrieferNet's their name.
these
I've heard the name before, but I didn't know what. I mean, I thought it was just like, you know, a bunch of guys, because griefing was like a, you know, common thing. I thought they were just like all buddies
No.
or whatever.
No,
Yeah.
these guys are like the worst of the worst. How they're playing the video game still is beyond me. And I typically am even if someone stream snipes me, even if someone is like rude to me in my stream, whatever, I don't report them ever. I've only reported like 3 people ever, and it was for like hard racism. And that's it, right? But these guys like have went out of their way to harass in real life people who are streamers that they don't like.
Oh, really?
Did you hear about this stuff? I'm not going to name the streamer
Okay.
just for his sake, but there was a streamer that they attacked. They impersonated him. They were going into global chats and like saying all this like harassing like stuff that made him look
I
in a
know what
bad
you're
light.
talking about. Yeah,
And
that was
they
awful, man.
they literally were pushing this guy to the brink of tears. And
Bro, I react to everything. How do I
Dude.
not know about this?
there was a video. The reason why this got exposed, because these guys were out there literally super hard going, hey, these streamers, they're just crying and we're just here for organic PvP and blah, 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 blah. They're like, we would never stream site, blah, blah, blah. And someone infiltrated their org, recorded their conversations about them being like, oh, look at him. He's getting so upset and blah, 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 blah. And then posted it to YouTube and was like, hey, I wanted to expose these guys. I got close to them and join them on stream sniping and griefing so that I could get this information for you guys.
That was wild.
And
that was wild.
did you watch the video? I don't think that it's up anymore.
I watched them all. Dude, what's crazy is like they gaslit us so good. Like I was convinced like the person in question was like actually a bad like accuser, you know, the cheating accuser or whatever. Until the second video came out, I was like, what in the world, man? I'm like, they actually had me fooled.
Like this guy could
tell me more about.
He could not play the game. This guy literally. So this org made it their life's mission to make sure anytime this guy opened up the game, he just had a terrible fucking time. They would follow him around. They'd wait till he bought something, like trading wise, and they'd blow him up. They'd wait for him to go mining, and they'd wait at the station. And they were literally making it their life's mission just to make him miserable. They had multiple alt accounts that were named after him to make it seem like he was the one talking in global. Hey guys, I killed you. You know, get fucking right. I don't remember exactly what they said. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Yeah, I'm kind of paraphrasing. They may have said something different, but the intention was to harass him. And this guy caught them on like a private Discord call talking about doing so. And, you know, obviously CIG got that information, and these guys aren't permanently banned. And I think they should have been. For sure.
Bro, nobody is getting permanently banned from Star Citizen.
And they should be. They should be.
Here's the craziest shit with them is people have year-long, 3-year, 10-year-long bans for being toxic towards the development of Star Citizen. And on their forums, they're banned. But boy, can they still buy spaceships, dude. Like these and bro, I am starting to get really uncomfortable with this game. Did you see what they did today?
No.
You talking to me?
Or just both of you?
I didn't hear any Star Citizen news today. No.
Oh man, we're moving into a different territory here.
Let's go because I feel like me and Mike have a lot more in common with our opinion on this than I originally thought.
No, maybe this is a very small thing, but it's very simple. But it is a situation where I'm starting to see the signs where I'm getting super uncomfortable with Star Citizen. You were watching my stream when we were talking. about this,
yeah, no, I watched it as well, or I looked at it as well.
Yeah, they're selling. Okay, they do a big update or put a post on their website about a mission in the game, a chain of missions. Oh, have you ever played the Arlington Gang mission, guys? Super cool. In case you didn't know about it, here's all these details. You're making a face like you've never heard of it, FortyOne, right?
Arlington Gang, no.
Okay.
It's the one where you work up to fighting the Idris. I'm pretty sure you've done it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't know it was called that, though.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done that one a dozen times.
A lot of people have, but just in case I was going to go through like more details on it and then maybe it would refresh your memory.
Okay. I do know about it. Yeah.
No worries. So for people who don't know, like I was thinking like, okay, maybe 41 didn't know. This is a great post for guys that maybe don't know it because they have a lot of information. At the bottom of the page, it's like have more success in this mission, but like a sly way of saying it. Buy this $250 ship. It was just like we can't.
The gear up for success is what it said.
Yeah, gear up for success. We can't even talk about anything in this game without selling something, bro. It is so insane. I can't deal with it. Like I just can't. It's just such a bad
that's predatory.
Look. Oh, I mean, fucking Star Citizen. What isn't with them?
I mean, I saw they started selling like multi-tools on the shop.
Yeah.
Like instead of buying a 300 credit multi-tool at Tammany and Sons in Lorville, you can buy it for like $5 or $10 now.
Hey, buy 10 of them, bro. What's stopping you?
Yeah, like
hey, support the dream, man.
Like the in-game currency is valueless now.
I think my main issue with them selling that stuff wasn't that they were selling items, because they've been doing that for a while, right? We've gotten subscriber multi-tools and weapons. This is a little different for sure. my main issue was that it seemed targeted towards new players and new players who were joining during the Foundation Festival. And because of that, they were buying this stuff. They were dying either because of they're new to the game or because of a bug. And then they're opening up their inventory going, where's all my stuff I just bought?
It's gone, dude.
It's gone.
Full loot game. Goodbye. Super weird.
It's kind of
eventually
it's
they'll
kind
get
of
it
wild
back.
that you can pay money, like $15 for a suit of armor, and then never get it back
yeah.
once you die.
Yeah.
Like there's
And
no insurance. I mean, there is did you guys see the video on like the insurance there is now that's really clunky?
Don't get me started on that, bro.
Does anybody actually think that's what that is, or is like
nobody with a brain cell thinks that.
Like
I mean, this is Star Citizen.
Like when I first saw it, I'm like, this is the most obvious stupid bug I've ever seen, and like people actually think that's like Prapor's insurance.
Listen,
yeah,
I genuinely wouldn't have an issue. Yes, it's wild. I genuinely wouldn't have an issue with a proper or Tarkov-like insurance in Star Citizen. I wouldn't
either. I think it's necessary at a point.
Yeah,
I think it's perfect.
But having items that have rarity, that are uninsurable, like the best components in the game, like the best weapons in the game, like the best FPS weapons and best armor and stuff like that, making that uninsurable, I think would be necessary to create we don't need a player-driven economy, but we do need a player economy. I think that it's necessary for the game. A player economy is necessary.
Absolutely.
And one of the coolest things, I don't know if you saw this, dude, but one of the coolest things that got added to the game was unintentionally was that people were getting railguns very rare in bunkers, and then they were going on the player market for like 100, 150, 200, 250K right before Mike started a whole like org page about it where he like
we started a business in the game.
Started
I used
business
to
in
sell
the
them
game.
to my org.
Yeah. And then
I'm an evil org. They buy them all the time.
Yeah, and then the duping started, and all of a sudden, they're worth 5K. 5K. A fraction.
I didn't know there was a dupe bug.
Yeah.
There's a dupe.
That's the insurance thing, bro.
A dupe bug, but
that's
I didn't know
the
about
insurance thing. Because then you just take the weapon.
Oh,
and then you do it again.
Is.
Yes.
But they called it weapon insurance because they didn't want to admit that they're duping.
Yeah.
That works for railguns?
Bro, it works for railguns. It works for maze. It works for Haddonites. It works for Janonites, which is the one that's like
Janonite?
Yes. And so people are making...
I randomly had somebody give me 53 million credits just out of the blue. And I'm like, I wonder where you got it.
Same. I had someone give me like 30 mil. I'm just like, okay. All right, buddy. Like when that starts happening, that's when you know that it like the quote unquote economy is ruined. You know, we need a wipe but they've said that it's fixed, but how it works is that whatever your last like save was on your insurance is still there. So people are still taking advantage of it in a small way.
All it is like it's saving, like when you park your ship, it saves the ship's state, and when you go to recover it, it recovers it in that state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how anybody could have ever thought that was insurance. Ever.
It's just justifying it, dude. It's just they're always justifying. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, bro.
Streamlined.
And don't get me wrong, man. The game is punishing, right? But it's mainly punishing for its bugs. That's the main thing, right?
Which is their argument. Yeah, that's the raid boss, and that's what they're arguing for this, right? Like that's why they're saying it. They think it's okay because they argue that they don't die legitimate deaths. That's what a lot of people were saying to me. Is I've never died a legitimate death, and I'm like, well, then you don't play. So
you've never driven into an invisible asteroid? Like, yeah, all right, okay.
Of course, we all die illegitimate deaths, but you're telling me you've never died to a player? You've never not peeked a corner and died to an NPC that magically woke up in a bunker? Come on, man.
Yeah, or teleported through the elevator into your face.
Well, yeah,
walked onto your ship somehow.
Well, I mean, for example, I did the hardcore challenge, and I thought it's super fun. You want to know how many times I died during that entire challenge to bugs?
1, right?
0.
0?
0.
Really?
I died to bugs. I did a hardcore challenge. If I died 5 times, I was done. And I died 0 times to bugs. I was really surprised, honestly. I almost died at the beginning to that invisible player at Jumptown.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
Okay.
When did you do the challenge?
2 weeks ago, maybe a little
2 weeks
longer,
ago?
maybe 4 weeks ago. Yeah. But
I mean, the player base has kind of declined a little bit. So, and I've noticed that when there's less players, there's less bugs that can potentially kill you.
definitely this week's been bad.
I think you picked a good time to do it. You know.
Yeah. This week's been really bad for Mike, especially.
Oh no.
Dude.
Why?
Okay, but I may have figured it out.
Okay.
You didn't have to
Somebody told
ban
me-
the G Hub guy.
No, he told me to close. Okay, but the thing is I logged in and out. But when we were playing Berks, I logged out twice, and I still had it. So that's why it makes me think I just closed Logitech G Hub. And so I was having insane desync 41. So I would press Y to get out of my seat. And I am not kidding. 15 minutes later,
You
my
teleport back.
character gets out of the seat. Finally gets out of the seat. No,
Oh,
they
you just
never
couldn't-
left. I waited because people were, I'll just wait, man. It'll fix itself. All right, we'll wait. And then 15 minutes later, I get out of the seat, immediately teleport back. And like we're talking, I'm like, all right, I'm getting out of the seat. Before my character, like the chair spins around, all that. And then
Yeah.
I'm back in the seat. And I'm like, all right, do we wait another 15 minutes? Like, what are we doing? I'm watching my view count go up. Because people are actually engaging with the fact that this bug is so ridiculous, and I wonder what's going to happen next. Is he going to get out of the seat, or isn't he going to get out of the seat? That is the level that we're at with Star Citizen content right now. Usually when like bad things happen, you're like, oh man, my view count's going down. This sucks. What do I do? I got to figure something out. Let's do some fun shit. No, I am sitting there and we're just talking, waiting for my character to get out of the seat for an input that I put into the game for them to do it.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
That's literally what
Exactly,
it was. It was
bro.
so ridiculous.
Is he gonna get out of the chair? Is he gonna get out of the chair?
They were hooked. It was nuts. I was
Dude.
engaged with it too. I was like, I'm not leaving until this guy gets out of the seat.
That's so uncanny how that works. I can't honestly think of all the times where I've been playing a game and streaming it, and the game just stopped working, or there's a bug, or the servers are down, and like it's been my highest few streams sometimes. When shit's not working, and mostly
Berks and
because
I-
people just want to come in and complain about it, but also because like I don't know, it's bizarre.
I think our biggest non-Citizen Con streams, correct me if I'm wrong, Berks, was 318 launch when nobody can get into the game.
That was true. Streamer privilege. Why are you in the game? I can't get in. Oh my god, man! Literally 40.
Oh, you were actually
I was in.
Mine,
I got
was
in.
just on the menu.
I
You
got in,
hosted
bro.
me that day. You hosted me that day. I remember that.
Yeah,
That was
dude.
nuts.
That was a good day for all of us. We were all pretty high in the numbers that day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, and dude, not
I mean,
only
there was
that,
never a hyper time for Star Citizen than 318.
it never.
Yeah, man, they had commercials running on YouTube and everything.
They're still running, bro.
Why am I
Playable
not
now.
Playable
surprised? Of
now,
course
brother.
They are.
But it's crazy because I was like the first person on the planet to get into that patch. I was ready. I was pre-downloaded. I moved the PTU folder over to live. I was ready. I click the install button and it just launched, and nobody else could get in. Like not a
Yes.
single other person. It was wild. And so
200
people.
IQ play.
Well, I mean, I was just trying to get in first. I didn't think it was gonna, break so bad, right?
Yeah.
Mike clicked
Yeah,
the button. Mike clicked the button maybe 3 seconds later after
And I
me.
was toast.
3 seconds. That's all. That was the
That's all it
difference.
took.
That's all it took. And
Yep.
but it was wild because I think probably part of the reason why my view count was so high that day was just because people were trying to get information on why they couldn't play the game. You know, and
100%.
it's like people want to engage with content that they want to engage with, and when they really want to engage because they can't get in, I mean, there it is, right? Or
Yeah.
people like coming in asking like when a wipe is, or the
get that a
information
lot
about
in Tarkov,
Invictus,
yeah.
or exactly, or Citizen Con, right? Like people want that kind of information,
Right.
And so, I bet you can relate a lot with the Tarkov scene, but
Yeah, isn't it uncanny the similarities like between the two,
Oh.
at least the streaming communities? Like,
dude,
I feel like we have a
it's
lot
all
in
me and
common.
Jesse. It's all Jesse and us talked about. was the
Yeah.
similarities between Star Citizen and Tarkov. Yeah,
I was watching that episode
wild.
right before we started this. I didn't get through the whole thing.
It's so weird. It's not weird though. It's like there are just too many similarities, and the streamers all get along with each other, and the YouTubers get along with each other. It's like everybody's. I think a lot of Star Citizen fans really like Tarkov, and a lot of Tarkov fans really are looking for Star Citizen to waiting for it to be something for them. And it's I don't know. It's just kind of cool how jointed the communities have become. I mean, that's my first time watching any of your content. 41 was, I think, the first
Was
thing.
Tarkov?
Yeah, the first thing that
Yeah.
popped up from you for me was you were doing raids as your character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
That was the first video that popped up for me, and I was like, oh, this
You know,
is
you talked
cool.
about earlier about like videos you put no effort into getting like all the views. Like I literally just downloaded those from Twitch. On YouTube.
I
didn't
mean,
edit them or anything.
dude,
You
that's
don't have to.
Just clipped it off Twitch. The whole raid, I just clipped it and then straight to YouTube.
'Cause
dude.
it was a catchy thumb or title. It was like, oh, this is different, right? Like
Yeah.
that. I don't remember. There was a Tarkov guy that he Fair TX or something.
Oh,
I don't
man,
think he
I
makes
love
video-
him. Fair made my first trailer for that game.
Yeah, dude. I just remember
Yeah.
he was just like doing different things than everyone else, right?
He was very different from that's why
Yeah.
he's so good at what he does too.
Exactly. So
incredible.
he just stuck out, right?
Yeah.
And it was like the same thing. I mean, that's a lot of the times like Berks, right? That video that you're like, I don't know why it did good. Well, I mean,
it's different.
look at how different it was. Like
Yeah.
I played Star Citizen with no ship, a game that ships are everything. So people were probably like, what the fuck is this? You know, and wanted to understand like what do you mean no ship? You know? So I think
I
that's
guess there's
like
a factor
that has to be.
yeah. You know, maybe it's something that we just overlook. Like maybe when you're in your element doing like the one thing like you're good at and being
Mhm.
happy and you don't even realize it, but maybe that's truly resonating with people. And that's why those videos do so well, because you're not trying. You're just being yourself. And people usually like a streamer when they're just being themselves.
Yep.
You know, people watch streams to escape dreary, shitty reality. They don't
Yeah.
watch a stream to watch somebody complain, you know?
True, unless
It's,
it's mine. But the
I mean, I do it too. I'm guilty of it too. I'm trying to
Oh,
learn
man.
to stop. But
Well,
it's hard.
sometimes
It's hard.
complaining is being yourself, right? Like, because
Yeah.
in my opinion, there is nothing less genuine than someone who's like, you can tell they're not enjoying themselves, but they're being fake because they want the content to be good or whatever. We talked
Yeah.
about last week the guy who told off one of his regulars because he didn't want them to kill the vibe, bro. You know, like it's like
you had
sometimes
to have seen this.
sometimes it's okay to be a little negative, you know, and level with people. Be real.
Are you
know,
talking
give 'em
about
the
the one
honest
where the guy came in and said like a relative of his passed away
Yep.
or something?
Yes. Yeah, it was a
Like,
I think
why
I
you
did
regular.
see
killing
that
the-
one.
It's
Yeah.
Friday, man. Why are you trying to kill the vibe, dude? And then he got super pissed.
He got
On
dude.
a
He was
Friday?
like on a fucking Friday. Don't you bring my chat down, my energy like that. He was stern, man. It was like it was pretty gross.
I wonder
is
what
how I
happened
want
to
to
that
say.
guy.
That's
He
Mike's
dude,
thing now.
he
Mike will
doubled
complain about
down.
something in his chat. I'll be like, on a Monday, really?
I saw.
Yeah. It became a meme.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
On a
Awful, but I mean, it's
Thursday?
funny.
On a
Yeah.
Thursday, we're gonna bring the
Thursday,
vibes down.
really?
Oh my god. But there was a follow up video on this guy, and he just doubled
Was
down.
there?
I saw it. Yeah, it was a
Oh,
follow up
his
video. and he-
apology video was like
was like-
basically as bad as this one.
Oh
that,
my
like, couple
God,
weeks
bro.
ago. It
Yeah,
was
he
Oh
tried
my
using his
God.
mom as a scapegoat, I think, too. Like something that was wrong with his mom. He tried to.
Dude,
form
it was
sympathy
bad.
with.
'Cause,
I
mean,
can't
the-
remember,
The
but-
whole internet came down on him.
Yeah, and he still streams and still pulls numbers somehow.
Really? That's
People
He
love
what
showed up
drama,
to
dude.
my recommended the other day.
Yeah.
Good for him, I
It
guess.
had like 150 viewers.
Good for him.
Wish I could-
Survived
wish I
the
could make this shit up.
cancellation.
Yep.
People,
But-
man, love drama. They love outrage, and it's like people know that you're more likely to click on something that makes you upset, right? Now, with Twitch streaming doesn't really work. And I think the reason why is because you're now building a community that's mirroring yourself, and that mirror is outrage, it's drama, it's, you know, being this goofy version of yourself. And it's like, unless you want to continue to emulate that, you're not going to bring people in your community that you like. You're going to bring all these like, you know, chat hoppers who just want drama and, you know, the latest a goofy take that you're going to give them because you're just trying to be a cartoon character. You know, and it's not really good for, it's like doing giveaways for building your channel. Like, it's a okay way to like say thank you to your community, but if it's all you do,
you've been there, 41.
Biggest waste of money and time,
bro.
I have done hundreds of video game copy giveaways from Farm Simulator to Star Citizen. There isn't a single one of those people that ever comes back ever.
Huh.
Yeah, man.
That's just me though.
I remember the when I stopped doing it was when I was streaming, and like I looked at the chat box, and bro, like the lines aren't moving that quick, and then somebody pops in, has not said a, you know, didn't say hello, didn't ask me how I was doing, just typed exclamation point giveaway. Like, is there a giveaway running today? Because like I have too much money in Star Citizen, but what I used to do is, before I was partnered, people would like donate to you on Twitch a lot. It was like a thing back in the day. Like, it's not really a thing anymore in the way that it was back then. And like some months it would be like $2,000, and because it was like a you know, there was TTS and it was a joke, and it was a different time then. And I would take all, because I had a job and everything, and I was doing fine. So I was like, I'll take all this money and we'll do giveaways for the community. I'll give back. And I always thought like, all right, I was doing a good thing. I didn't necessarily do it for advertising at first. It was always to be like, thank you. And but then you started noticing what it started to become is the people who were showing up weren't there for me. They weren't there to have a good time. They didn't even give a shit about me. Right?
They just wanted free stuff.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I know I'm gonna take a hit, but no more. And the only time I do them now is for sponsors. Like, if we hit this sponsor goal, I'll do some ship giveaways. That's it.
Yeah, I won't do it anymore unless it's sponsored either.
Yep. If the only way I'm doing something is if I gain from it too at this point, because it's a give and take, and I never announce them. They're not in my title. They're not, you know, on Twitter.
Off the cuff.
Yep. It's just, hey, this is what we're doing.
Best way to do it, man.
Dude.
Because then you'll get 50 people showing up that won't say a word, that only want the thing. And once you do it, gone, never see them again.
And every person that wins now is somebody I know, and I'm happy for them.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Same here, really, man. Good. Like, my giveaways, I was so hesitant to do them forever. And whenever I first came in the Star Citizen category, the top 15 titles were all exclamation point giveaway, and then whatever their title was for the day. Exclamation point giveaway, exclamation point giveaway. And
or the big ship that they're giving away, but it's like 400 steps to get into it.
Yeah, it's like win a anvil, you know, well, not an anvil, an Aegis Idris, but you have to follow me on Twitter and also comment on one of my YouTube videos. And also you have to go to the store and buy Wonder Bread. And then you have to, you know, do this. And it's going to be 3 months from now. But if nobody wins, because there's a 50% chance that nobody wins, we'll redraw it another 3 months from now. Like, it was this big, like, goofy, long way to, like, potentially get, oh, and, you know, you get an extra entry for every hour you watch, and or every $10 you donate, you get an extra giveaway token, whatever. And it just became like this game inside of a game inside of a game that I didn't care for. It felt so odd to me. And so I decided against doing giveaways super early on. And now when I do giveaways, it's because I've been giving something for free, like a sponsorship or CIG or whatever. And I literally will be like, you know what, guys, we're doing a giveaway. I'll open it up for 5 minutes and then I close it. Roll the dice.
That's how I do it.
Yep. Because
like, hey, you guys got 3 minutes to type exclamation point Drake or something.
Yeah. Because at least I know someone who got the ship is actually here and they care, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to give it to someone. And if you don't, I even tell people, you don't have to be subscribed. You don't have to be following, like, whatever. As long as you're here right now, you know, you're part of this moment, you can have a chance to win the ship. But it's like, I'm not going to open it up for a week. So, the bots can come in. It was literally a meme in my channel forever. Is exclamation point giveaway. It still is because
It still is, yeah.
it still is because what was happening was there were literal bots that were coded to go through every Star Citizen stream that was live and do exclamation point giveaway to enter them. And
That's how you know it's bad, dude.
yes. And so I started timing people out with the command exclamation point giveaway. And so now if you do exclamation point giveaway in my chat, you get timed out for 2 minutes. And so I'll be like, hey, everyone, like, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. We're doing a Bengal starter package giveaway, exclamation point giveaway to get entered. And then people like will, some people are just in it for the meme. And then we'll have some like newbies who've never seen the stream before, heard the meme.
Bengal carrier.
Yeah. Bengal carrier starter package giveaway, baby. But
could you imagine,
dude?
Oh
it's,
my God.
but I think that's the best way is just like, don't do it as like this way to, because it's like once you take that away, like you said, 40, it's like those people, they're gone,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't give a
It's
shit.
it's sad too because I did a personally signed print giveaway a month ago to somebody in England won it, and I had to go and pay $40-something to mail it to him, and haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
crazy.
Sucks, dude. It makes you feel like
Yep.
shit. It really does.
Yep.
It's like, damn, I did that because I wanted to try to make my community happy, and they ghost you. Just the nature of the beast. It's not, doesn't have to be a horrible thing. You can turn it into a positive learning lesson. Good lesson for yourself. Hey,
Yeah,
don't do it again.
absolutely.
Just don't do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
Or if you
other
do it in
people
this
learn
case,
from
like
it.
US only or whatever.
Or yeah, that's the safest way to do it is US only.
Yeah.
But then you segregate your audience, and there's that whole thing to deal with. But
Yeah.
just like you two are a perfect example of how to do it. Just do it randomly,
Yep.
because then the people that deserve it, one of them is going to win it.
Yeah, like the
'Cause
last
they
ship I
would've been there
gave
anyway.
away was a Drake Vulture, right? Like a ship that you can't buy in Star Citizen right now.
Still
And it's a
can't.
still can't, but like cool ship that's really useful. And we gave it away to like one of the, like, he's the guy waiting there for my stream to go live every morning. You know what I mean? Like, who do you want to have win that ship more than anybody? It's that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's bummed out when I'm late.
Yeah.
Like that's great,
Yeah.
Like those are the guys
Those
you
are
want
the
to win,
good
and that's
ones.
who won. That's who
Yeah.
won. That's
Those are the ones that
awesome.
deserve it.
Exactly.
That's
Man.
always, it feels
I got a
good.
couple of those, but they're all mods, so they're not allowed
Yeah.
to win anything.
Wait,
They're usually
they
the
work-
ones that give me the stuff to give away anyway. But
Dude,
yeah.
that's one thing we've never talked about is moderation.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
It's tough.
It's tough
It's
having
super
people you
tough.
trust.
Yeah, I think I have great people I trust. It's what I'm struggling with now is a lot of what Berks was saying is I obviously speak my mind about the game, so I attract more people that are not as excited about Star Citizen. They're more like not happy with the state of the current game, right? And
That's why I started watching you, because you said everything I was thinking.
yeah, and I think more and more people, and the thing is like I've always felt this way, and it's always been for the same reasons that are happening now or whatever, right? And I'm way happier about the project than I was like, let's say 5 years ago. And the thing that I'm noticing is there are some people that are just like, no matter what, they find the only negative thing in a sea of positivities and stuff, right? And
Yeah.
like, but then also be like sort of attacky towards other people. And I'm like, man, I really like, specifically in like my Discord, sometimes in my Twitch, but I like the hardest thing is like, how do you moderate? Like, you want people to have opinions, right? And you want them to have their own opinions, but then there's always a line, and it's like, where is the line for people, right? Like, I had a sponsor today. Do you notice, like, this is the first time I've not had a beard in I don't know, years.
I was gonna
had
say something, but I don't want to,
yeah,
overstep.
no, I had a Manscaped sponsor, and I
Oh, good for you.
accidentally shaved more. Like, I was like, all right, I'll shave my beard. I'll use the product on stream. This will be sweet. I had the wrong trim setting, and I cut it all off by accident, right? Like, it wasn't even as a joke. But then but like, I'm going through it and I'm getting to the mustache, and how I shave my beard is I start here, but I'm not leaving anything in the middle on purpose. and I noticed that I was starting to like get to the dangerous area of having a certain mustache that you shouldn't have. So I went and got rid of it right away, right? Like I didn't shave both sides or anything. But then a couple people said, "Oh, make a Hler staff, right? Stash." And
Charlie
I'm like,
Chaplin. You know?
"Yeah, Charlie Chaplin mustache." And I'm like, they got timed out, and and immediately I get a message
I probably should
going,
laugh at that. I'm
"What's
sorry.
what's wrong with you?" What do you mean, what's wrong with me? I go, what's wrong with you? Like, it's so hard. They get mad at you when it's like I'm literally doing a sponsor and you're typing one of the no-go words. You know, like
Oh, they actually typed it out. Okay, well, that's a problem.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, bro, come on. And then just simple things like CIG devs, like community managers specifically being in my Discord. And then when things are happening bad with Star Citizen, they're like being nasty to that person, like they had anything to do with it. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
just
that's
like
the worst.
so I have
Yeah.
really, really struggled with moderation.
It's like blaming the
because of
weatherman
that.
for the weather.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Like just yesterday, one of the community managers should be fired because bugs are in Star Citizen that are not being reported to the developers to fix them. When they first off, they are. You have no information that community manager didn't tell them. They have a whole team that is a like video game experience team that sees the bugs and reports these to the developers. They didn't fix it, or they couldn't figure out how to fix it, right? There's like we were talking about this invisibility bug before. But they called for this guy to get fired. And then I have to spend the next 20 minutes when I should be doing something else explaining to that person why that's not a good thing to say and not a good mentality to have. Or I could just ban them and get rid of them. You know? But then
It's
what
tough,
is your
man.
right?
It's tough. I'm way more lenient with people. I'm very particular. I'm way more lenient with people sometimes than I should be. And then sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm not lenient at all. It just really depends. Like the guy who did his referral code the other day in my stream.
No, this was so funny.
There was a guy
this is a
who was
great
like,
story.
he literally comes to my stream. It's probably
Berks and I are streaming at the same time.
Yeah,
Together.
Yeah. We're
Okay, you're doing a dual stream. Okay.
Yeah.
Streaming together, and this guy comes to my stream, and his first message ever in my stream is, "Would anyone be willing to use my referral code? I'm trying to get this referral reward, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, bro, you got about the same chance of someone using your referral code as me timing you out for, however many seconds. And I ended up timing him out. I ended up banning him is what I did. Because like, if it's like your first message ever, that's just like a massive red flag, right?
Yeah.
It's like advertising your own stream and somebody else's.
Yep.
Right. And so it's just like, and here's the other thing is I don't want people to think that my stream is an okay place to advertise your referral code or like ask for free money or advertise your org or whatever, just because I want to keep the focus of the stream on the stream. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just obviously a really goofy thing. Then a couple minutes later, Mike is reading some chat and, I guess Mike had said something like, "Oh, like I really like Berks. Awesome dude." Something like that. And this guy that I banned was like, "Oh yeah, I really like Berks too, but I just got banned in his stream." And then he goes on to say,
for me, he must have came to me second. For me, his first time chat in mine was like, "Man, it's so good to see you streaming. You and Berks are my favorite streamers and YouTubers and all these good things." And like Berks told me he timed some guy out. And I was like, "What was his name?" And he said the name and it was that guy. And I'm like, "No, dude, you gotta unban him." Trust me, you gotta unban him. He's a good dude.
He was just like a first time Twitcher.
It was a mistake.
And he didn't know. He didn't realize that was he didn't know that was a bad thing to say. Yeah. And so it's like, it wasn't even that I was like actually mad or anything. It was just, again, trying to keep the main thing the main thing.
You gave your reasons and they're valid. Yeah.
And it's so I unban him obviously, but it's like, I think that typically my chat's pretty tame. I do have the occasional idiot who's like super anti-Star Citizen. And my rule with that person is I try to have a good discussion with them. And if they refuse to be reasonable, I ban them. Like, I'll be like, "Okay, so like, what do you think about this?" And if they just are still hateful and like unreasonable, I'm like, "Okay, see you later." Like, because I'll try to like point things out, because typically people who hate the game, their points are pretty not valid. Like, don't get me wrong, there are valid reasons to hate the game. There really are.
They're easy to break apart.
Right. But it's like
Yeah.
when, you know, people are like, you know, saying statistics and facts and things about the game that aren't true. I'm like, okay, well, that's not true. But like, what do you think about this? Or how do you feel about this thing? And then they just respond by being an idiot. I'm just like, okay, see you later. But there were some things that I'm just like super hard on, like racism, obviously. I had a guy come to my stream the other day, and he's a regular. He's a guy who donated money to me. And he's always been a little bit edgy, but nothing too bad. And he was trying to say his thing that he was trying to say was racism doesn't exist. And I was just like, brother, like, what are you talking about? Like,
It's an hot take.
Dude, I ended up just having to ban him. I was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I will not put up with this kind of energy in my stream, is why I told him. I was like, you go support someone else. I don't care. I'll lose a sub. I'll lose a sub gifter to not have to deal with someone like you, who obviously is, you know, trying to, like, why did he think that he was going to like win bringing that up? It was so weird too, because the thing that I was trying to reference in my stream was that people who are hard racist or like just profound racist should be permanently banned from the game. They don't deserve to be playing the same games that we do, right? And that was just this incredibly controversial take to him. But everyone else was like, yeah, thumbs up, like totally makes sense. And
I'm honestly trying to like give him the benefit of the doubt and like try to think of like he might have meant something else, but I really can't. Like,
no, the swarms of DMs that I got afterwards, I'm telling you, this guy believed this. He believed this. And listen,
what an idiot.
I
you
know.
Look out your window and see that isn't true,
dude,
man. Like,
I know, man. And listen, it's like the last thing I want to bring up on my stream is like politics or like, you know, these like hard hitting world issues, because people typically come to my stream to escape, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all banned in my chat, all that shit. None of it's allowed.
But man, the second you bring up real life stuff and disrespect people in race, in sex, in like anything, you bring in that real, if you can call me a shit pilot, I'm cool with that. You can call me a shit pilot. You can even make fun of me and my appearance. But the second you go out of your way to berate other people for that stuff, man, that's going to be a hard no for me.
It sets me off too. I think that's a really good way of being able to tell if somebody's a good person or not. Is if that's typically their reaction to things like that. You know, people make fun of me all the time. I don't give a shit. But, you know, someone's like, you know, Salty Mike is a big stupid idiot because of this. I'm like, don't talk about him like that. He's not here. And he's my friend. So, like, you can get banned. You know what I mean? Like,
I think I've said this on the podcast before, but when I started transitioning my like and actually focusing on my YouTube channel, I started and I purposefully was like, all right, I really like some things that Board Gamer does, but I don't like some things that he does, like for the type of content that I want to make. So I'm gonna, you know, take the things that I like and be inspired by those, and learn from the things that maybe I don't like, and I'm gonna do them differently. And then same with a Noobifier, right? And like that, I like my weekend review video of like, this is what happened this week in Star Citizen is like this amalgamation of the two of them and how they inspired me to make a news video, right? And what I started noticing is the commenters would say, wow, you're so much better than Board Gamer or and all these things. And I go and I'm like, I would just comment and I'm like, I will not accept a compliment when you're putting somebody else down. It's not a compliment when you're putting someone else down.
Completely agree.
And that person is my friend. It's I don't think their content's bad. It's just I enjoy their content. I watch it all the time. It's just when I decided that I wanted to make a video a certain way, I was like, man, I'm going to cherry pick the things that I love from the people that I like watching. And I'm not going to choose the things that I don't. And that's it. But they went out of their way to put somebody down and to try to make me feel better. And I still have to do it all the time. I'm like, you don't need to, no compliment when you're putting someone else down. It just doesn't work.
Dude, some of these chatters just have absolute perpetual foot and mouth syndrome. It's wild. YouTube commenters
Yeah.
as well. It blows my mind the things that people will say, and it's just like, man, did you even think about this before like you typed it out? Did you think it was gonna be funny? You know, like, did you think about the context? Like, it's wild, man. Like, I would love to know what's going on in some of these people's heads. Where, because like all he had to say there was, bro, you're my favorite like Star Citizen news content creator.
Yeah,
It's
thank
all he
you
had
for
to
what you
say.
do, whatever. Like the classic, the usual comments
Yeah.
that you see.
There's
But
no need to put down Board for that. I mean, yeah, we like Board. It's like, and I know I'm not everyone's favorite creator. Some people like you more than like me. There are people out there who are gonna like 41, more than they like either of us. And it's like, that doesn't mean that we're better than each other. It just means that people have their preferences, right? And there's no
Like
reason, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't gotta berate someone else because, oh, bro, fuck Pizza Hut, Little Caesars in my shit. It's like, yeah, that sounds goofy.
Almost
Yeah.
okay.
Well, yeah, that's more of okay because it's more
Like
of a
Coke
brand.
versus Pepsi, like
Yeah,
all that
that's-
stuff.
that's
right?
more
It's
of a
not
brand.
Like a person.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
get
maybe
it, though. I get what
bad
you mean,
example, bad example, but it's like, yeah,
okay.
that's almost goofy, like Horde versus Alliance kind of stuff. But yeah, when you're having to, especially when you put someone who's like, if I was like, man, who's a way better voice actor than 41? Salty Mike. Oh my god, dude, he puts 41 in the ground,
Hey,
bro.
listen,
when it comes to voice
I have
acting,
terrible imposter syndrome, so we go right ahead. I'm not even going to debate it.
dude.
I
I
feel
mean,
like I'm a terrible voice actor, if I'm being honest.
listen, Mike
I don't
says
know
the
why
same
people
stuff,
like me.
dude. Mike says the same stuff. He
Really?
says he deals with imposter syndrome too.
I have it horribly.
Mhm.
I can't accept compliments. I don't know why. And it's not just with voice acting. I've been like that my entire life. I've been just a humble empath with awful
'cause-
imposter syndrome.
I mean, don't you feel like it's if you haven't people talk or give compliments in a way that you're at like the top of your craft, right? When you haven't achieved the ultimate goals that you set out to achieve. Maybe that's what it is for me. It's like saying that I'm a top streamer when I have not even remotely reached the success that I would hope to achieve. So when somebody says something like that to me, I'm like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? Like that's kind of what a conversation that Berks and I were having. Because obviously,
Kind
if you
of.
look at the percentage of view count or whatever, sure, we're in an upper echelon tier of viewers. But then if you take that subset of people and from people who are able to whatever, like 300 viewers or more, then and you look where we fit in that number, we're at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like the Rain
So, I
Man
don't
meme right now with Mike, like
Oh,
the
yeah, all
numbers
this
going
stuff.
across the screen.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't look at myself as successful. Like, I don't know.
Mine's kind of like
You know-
that. Mine is I feel like I haven't earned the compliment. That's my
I feel like that's almost the
interpretation
same.
of it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like
What
that's
would
almost the
make-
same.
What would make you earn it?
Well, I
What-
have like goals that I have set to do someday. So maybe achieving those would make me feel like, yeah, you know what? I am pretty good at this. I finally did this,
What's
Exactly.
like the dream of dreams when it comes to what you want to do? Is it? I mean, it's voice acting, right? Like
I
that's
have
like
two, and they're huge, and they're going to be really hard for me to ever achieve. They're pretty up there.
you want to share them.
One, yeah, they're both voice acting. One is to do voice acting for Funimation, and the other is Blizzard to be in like Overwatch. Be a hero in Overwatch. I think is probably my number one voice acting goal.
What's Funimation?
It's anime.
They do animes like
They do
Oh,
dubbing
okay.
Dragon
mainly.
Ball. It doesn't have to
Gotcha.
just be like Funimation. Like the other big ones too, like One Punch Man, like any of those, man. Like I'm mostly known for like my military, like deep, loud, grovelly, not grovelly, gravelly voice. But a lot of people don't know. Like I have a repertoire of voices I can do, and some of them sound absolutely ridiculous and would fit goofy characters perfectly. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I just haven't really had that opportunity yet. But
Well,
looking for
hopefully
it.
this agency you're working with is going to get you more opportunities like that.
Yeah,
Mm.
I have the same agent as a lot of huge names like Chuck Hubert. We have the same agent now. It's crazy. But the work also isn't falling off trees, left and right and center. It's
I'm with you. It's
what were you gonna say, Brooks?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like you said, we talked about in DMs. It's a hard industry to be in.
Yeah,
It's competitive. But
yeah.
I mean, dude, if I can, lay the compliment on you, I think you have a great voice. Honestly, very unique to like your not your look. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like there is, you know how like, well, yeah, absolutely. Your voice matches your look. I think perfectly.
It matches the way I look. Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is rare. That's very rare.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not only that, dude, but like, I think that the cadence you have is really unique, even in like voices that sound like yours. Like there are people who could play, quote unquote, play the same character as you. I feel like you have a really unique cadence, and I really like listening to you. Like you're a fun listen for sure. And so I'd like to see you in more stuff for sure. And
that means a lot to me coming from you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. And I was earlier when we were talking about Fiverr, I was gonna tell people, hey, if you want his voice in something, but how would someone get in contact with you if they were gonna?
I'm old fashioned. The best way is just my email, contact@FortyOne.biz. That's the best way. It's right here, there.
And we'll put that down below in the description, guys. So if you're looking, yeah, absolutely, you'll have to DM that to me, but. And his Twitter as well. We'll throw Twitter's it on there.
Fine.
Yeah, cool.
I'll have to follow you back to be able to DM me though, for anybody that wants to do it that way.
Yeah, well, at least people can they can keep up with you and see what you're doing and stuff. But yeah, hit his email if you guys need voice work. I mean, I would say that you're probably doing voice work for a reasonable price for someone of your caliber. So
yeah, I'm about half of the non-union price. So I'm extremely affordable, and my agent's pretty mad at me for the prices I went with. But it's what I feel like I'm worth. I'm not worth $1 million a gig yet, but I'll get there someday. 100% I'll get there. I refuse to die before I do. Okay, but right now, no. I still have a lot to learn. I'm still very much an amateur. I did get somewhat lucky with the genetic lottery and have that cadence that has gotten me very lucky with landing some gigs with military games and some up and coming projects that I'm sorry guys, I can't talk about. I wish I could, because some of them are really cool.
Excited to hear about them.
A lot of it's created luck. Yeah, you guys are gonna love some of these things. Some of these games coming out, oh man, they're gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
There's one where I'm gonna be the so you know how in Halo, I can't remember his name. He's the guy that does like double kill, triple kill.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be that in a game that's coming out.
That's sick, dude. Yeah, good luck on that.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
Hell yeah, dude. Sick. Well, something I want to encourage you with, dude, is not necessarily that you need propping up, but it's like some of these voice actors that I really look up to in terms of like even in Funimation and stuff, like the guy who does All Might's voice. Dude does All Might, Zoro. I just Captain Yami in Black Clover. Zoro in One Piece is who I'm referring to.
Okay.
That guy. He has a very unique voice. I would say similar cadence to you for sure. And dude's a legend. And I mean, he's, I would say, much older than you, as far as I'm aware. He looks it. But
Chris
man,
Sabat.
Yeah, Chris Sabat. I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, but the other thing is, you look at someone like Harrison Ford, who didn't get his first real gig until he was like 40 something, right?
Morgan Freeman was like in his 50s too.
Yeah. And look at these people are legends, man. They're legends. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't want to, reach out to you and say your big gig's coming 10 years from now. But man, it's like, I wouldn't give up because, man, you got such a unique voice, I would say.
I could never give up. Like streaming, I'll admit, I've let the negative mental factor get to me, and I've kind of given up on streaming. I don't really do it anymore, unfortunately, and I've let a lot of people down, and I'm sorry for that. But voice acting, I couldn't ever look 8-year-old me in the face and quit. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, this is something I've wanted since I was a child, and there's very few people that like genuinely have those 5-year-old childhood dreams and go and do them. Like, I want to be an astronaut. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you're not the only one who's doing multi-platform content creation. In your case, it's voice acting, and then does streaming and struggles with it. Like, I know someone who, I'm not going to name them, but I feel like struggle with the same thing. They're very successful on YouTube. I think a great creator, and they stream and they feel like they're not doing good. And, they're like the same thing. Their numbers are going down and they don't feel like they're consistent and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's tough, man, for people to walk into the streaming space unless, I think the biggest thing, Mike, and I don't know if you'd agree, it's consistency, man. And it sucks when it's not your number one main thing. And man, I'll be honest, 40, I'm jealous of both you and Mike for this reason, because streaming's my main thing. Like,
it used to be mine.
Used to be mine.
Yeah, and Mike's main thing is YouTube. I wish mine was YouTube. And then my YouTube,
I so do,
yeah. And then for you, it's voice acting, right?
I'm in a weird transition period right now where everything's kind of not looking good, but I think that's kind of how this goes. I think when you transition from one gig related job to another gig related job, that's kind of part of the course, I guess. That's what my agent said. My agent said, what it's normal what you're dealing with right now. Like, just stay calm. Things will look up.
It's got to be, dude. I tried to start voice acting, and you know how many jobs I got? Freaking 0, dude. I could not get a job for my life, and I was like,
me if I told you how I got started. I don't know if you know, Mike. Did you ever tell him? No. I made a random Reddit thread at 3:00 in the morning, drunk off my ass, directed at the owner of a company, and they said yes.
Let's go, dude. That's the way to get it. Just
that's how
Hail Mary.
That's how I got into Tarkov. Literally drunk 3 a.m.
Kind of a numbers game. Yeah, it's kind of a numbers game with stuff like that, like
it's a luck game too.
Luck is what luck numbers. Yeah, I just mean like that's like a 1 in a million thing is what I mean to say.
It is. It is. That's kind of why I feel like a lot of my luck has run out, because that 1 in a million thing already happened. But there's also you can also make your own luck, and it's called putting yourself in the right place at the right time. Nobody's going to fall through your roof unless you're getting a roof put in. You have to put yourself in the right place at the right time. And it's very doable. It's hard. It's going to take you 10,000 attempts probably, but it's doable. That's how
I have a shirt, but I have this shirt, but I got a gut now, so it doesn't fit. It's a most clovers have 3 leaves, but it's got the 4th leaf taped on, and it says you make your own luck. And it's like, that's
interesting.
I mean, I just come from a poker background, right? And there's a lot of luck involved in the game, but there's also a lot of skill and decision making and all those things. And that is very much a mentality you need to have success to play that game. And
I used to play a lot of poker, and I'm very thankful I don't anymore.
Yeah, we talked a little about that.
We did.
But the I just believe so strongly in that mentality, is that every decision you make determines whether or not the amount of luck you could have in a given situation, right? I absolutely believe that.
You have to enable it for yourself. You literally have to press the button to enable it. You do.
You can so you can obviously have bad luck, but you can put yourself in a position to have none.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of people do.
So. Yeah. And I think the people who mentally put themselves, and also not mentally, but just they not physically, that's not the word, position themselves in life to have these lucky moments. When the unlucky stuff happens, I feel like it's easier to just shake it off and move on, because you're like, okay, that, sucked, but we're moving on to the next thing. I have this other thing lined up, or I've got this going on, or whatever, because it's like, even if I crash and burn in my stream, all of a sudden I'm getting 0 viewers and my YouTube videos, I would still make something work. I'd go do something, and I wouldn't I guess I wouldn't try to let that hold my life down, because that's something that I've always done. Is even when I worked before streaming in film, I was always moving from one thing to the next, never saying yes to every opportunity I could that was elevating me and making things work. I've always just kind of rolled with the punches, and that's all streaming has been for me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing.
All you can do sometimes.
I've got literally 0 idea what I'm doing.
Streaming's been around for over 10 years, and it's still not an established here's what you must do to be successful. And I don't think it ever will be.
Yeah,
it's always changing.
It's a lot of just winging it.
And here we're doing the same thing with the podcast. We don't know what we're doing here.
Dude, you guys get over 1,000 views a podcast already. You're doing something right.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And, we've got an amazing community that is...
If it goes down after this, just don't ever have me on again.
Exactly, bro. We're breaking the record for the lowest viewed podcast. Let's go.
41's on. I ain't watching this one. Fuck that guy.
41 views. Let's go.
I used to get made fun of so much when I would have 41 viewers on Twitch.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
bad. 41 viewers. I'm so funny, guys. You know, like,
I was playing Sea of Thieves one time, and there was a little kid that we went and fought him, and he was on our ship, and we were talking to him, and I was just like, oh, who are your favorite streamers? He's like Tim the Tap Man, Ninja, like all these huge. I mean, this was like the Fortnite meta
the
too.
industry
So it was just
titans,
yeah, these were like the biggest guys, right? And then the guy I'm playing with, I didn't want to tell this kid I was streaming or whatever, right? We were just goofing off. And the guy I'm playing with, he goes, do you know 200 people are watching you right now? And the little kid goes, only 200? It is like little kid voice. And that's been a meme ever since.
Only 200?
Yeah. It's
only
so
the
bad.
literal top 1%.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
People don't realize,
that kid
man.
Dumpster me.
People don't realize. People have no idea that the level that is between a 200 viewer streamer and like a 20,000 viewer streamer is not that far apart.
It's not.
There's not that many people between them.
It's literally 11th hour.
Yeah. There's like so little.
That's where luck, I think, comes into it.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
I think after you're above like 50, I think a lot of it's luck and positioning, like we talked about. I mean, like me and Mike have really positioned. I kind of wish I was more in the position that you're in, 40. Like, and I know, you're not entirely happy with, the performance of your stream, and
it's all my fault. I
mean, and we can talk about that, but not to like, be a downer on you or anything. Cause I really like watching you.
Hit me, man.
No, I really, no, cause it wasn't supposed to be about that at all. Like, all I was going to say is that it's like, we're doing pretty freaking good considering, because like me and Mike, we're positioned ourselves in a community that really loves the game that we're playing. We're, capitalizing on a game that's still in development. There's lots to talk about. But the thing is me and Mike, at least at the moment, we're not getting above 500 viewers. I mean, I know you had that like one moment last week where you were doing that, but it's like, we're capped out. Nobody's getting 1,000 viewers in Star Citizen unless you're bringing your audience from another place. So we've positioned ourselves in a good spot for our community, but we've also capped ourselves at the same time.
It's just the Star Citizen cap right now.
Yeah, no, totally.
Even YouTube videos.
Totally.
Even YouTube videos.
YouTube and TikTok. Smashly brings in tons of viewers from TikTok.
Sure.
That's her big thing right now. Her breadwinner is TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like, you're bringing an outside, a lot of people who have no idea what Star Citizen is, right? They're like scrolling through TikTok and they see a video of Smashly low flying and someone explodes next to him. They're like, what's this game? Like, I got to find out more about it.
This looks crazy.
This looks crazy. Yeah. I've never seen something like this. Boy, is this like a Battlefield game? Like, what is this? They click on a stream. Next thing it's like she's got more and more viewers because she's bringing an outside audience. But like Mike and I have really capitalized on the entire Star Citizen audience that we can, without bringing new people. You guys could always
embed your streams on the Star Citizen wiki.
Oh my God.
Can't get banned for it because the CEO himself said you can't. So
dude, I fear the day. I fear the day that's coming that I may have to do that, because and like, here's the deal: is I'll be completely honest. I've never embedded. I've never view botted. I never want to do that, right? But the day that, and I think that embedding is view botting, right? Like, essentially,
100%.
Those people aren't watching the stream.
100% it's view botting.
I don't think you even can do that traditional view bot stuff anymore anyway.
You can't? Okay, well, yeah, either way, I'm not sure.
I'm thinking of something else.
I wouldn't know, right? Because I've never tried it. But it's
I've been view botted.
I have
it was
been
scary.
too.
Like if somebody tries to get you banned, right?
Yeah. I've been follow botted before.
I've been follow botted. Yep.
That happened to me like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I got so scared I didn't know what to do.
It's usually a viewer that just thinks it's this is what Twitch staff has told me when I'm like, listen, I lose like 100 followers a day every time I go live. Why? And they said it's probably because you got follow botted. It's not your fault, but you probably have a viewer that thinks that helps you when it doesn't. It hurts you.
Yeah.
That more often than not, that's how view botting happens. Is an innocent viewer that thinks they're helping you.
Yeah.
I literally sent the time it started, the follow it started on the name and the follow it ended on, and just sent it to Twitch, and I don't know what happened.
You know,
after
you
They
that.
can't purge
there's a
followers.
well,
Yeah.
Can't.
if you there's a commander root bot that you can
Oh,
download,
that's right.
and you can go
yeah.
from, if you have the exact time, you can go
I
from
do.
this time to this time, and it will ban and unban everyone so they unfollow you, or block and unblock so they unfollow you, is how it works.
Really?
So,
I need
yeah,
to do that.
yeah, but it's like you have to know the time it started and the time it ended. And fair warning, someone accidentally one time accidentally did it uncapped and they lost all of their followers.
This might sound a little, I don't know, out of left field, but I kind of wish I could reset my follower count
to zero? I mean,
on Twitch.
you technically could
because
if you're
every
using
time I
this
go live,
tool.
I lose hundreds. It's mentally defeating, to see it go down every time. It's a
Yeah,
bummer.
yeah. But what do
Yeah.
you do
And I
about the
feel like-
people who do want to click on your stream? Do you just like
I th-
promote
I
through
th-
Discord or something?
Yeah, Discord and Twitter, like, hey guys, I'm doing a fresh restart because of some nasty follow bots and stuff, and because then every time you go live, you'll have a true representation of how you're doing. I used to always track my progress through like followers, but now like with
Hmm.
Twitter and Twitch, like every time I tweet, I lose followers. Every time I go live on Twitch, I lose followers. So it's like it's hard to track. Like, am I really growing? Like, I've just, instead of feeling like you're hemorrhaging and going backwards,
It's tough,
it's,
dude.
uh,
Nah, I mean,
it
I think as
disillusions you.
for a streamer, the only number you should be looking at is like the amount of people that came into your stream that day. I don't know what the actual
Chatters?
number. Chatters
Concurrent
or
viewers,
Unique
concurrent
viewers?
unique
unique
viewers. I think,
chatters.
yeah, I think that's the one. It's
Unique
like how
viewers
many
is a good one.
unique people came in, and are those numbers going up consistently or
Okay,
whatever?
yeah.
Followers, dude, followers and subs on YouTube. The only people that care about those things are brands. That's it. Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
because they don't know
Nobody
any
cares about
better.
this stuff. Yeah, because they're stupid.
Yeah.
So nobody, right? Like they think that actually means like an audience or something. But the concurrent numbers are what really means something, and the trend of
Yeah.
where they're going at the given time, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was so nervous, dude. I took the weekend off, and I came back, and things were like good, the same. And
Good.
I was
That's
scared that
rare.
it very.
Usually,
so
you
it
take a
was
few
like,
days off, and it's hard to get it back.
yep. And I was like, okay, that's a good sign.
Man, it's
'Cause
go
I
ahead.
got to do it again in next week, 2 weeks.
Is that when you're going on
Or-
that 3-day?
Yeah, I'm going on a cruise, baby.
Woo! Let's go.
Cheap
Jeez.
little cruise deal that popped up in the email, and it's our anniversary, so it worked out perfectly.
Yo, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Early congrats, dude. Early
Yeah,
congrats.
So we're gonna
That's
go on a quick little weekend one.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's kind of weird like hearing you talk about this because you're, I guess, semi new to full time streaming. You know?
Very new, yeah.
Yeah, and
It just started a few weeks ago or a month or so ago. Yeah.
It was actually a bit longer. It was in March,
But
but
this year's just going by so fast; it's hard to
It's
tell.
yeah,
it's going by fast, and I try not to make a big deal about anything. I just go live every day.
exactly,
I'm-
right. But
Like I don't do the like it's my partnerversary thing or any of that
You
stuff that a
should.
lot of people do.
It's your
I
imposter
know.
syndrome.
and the reason
Yeah,
why
it is. Honestly, it is.
the reason
Yep.
why is because, in my
Nobody
opinion,
cares about
all
me.
that streamers are people who make bigger deals out of what you're watching it actually is. Because, like, let me put it this way. It's like there were people probably doing the exact same thing as Summit whenever he was like doing Sea of Thieves tucking on people with 2 viewers, but they're not watching because they wanted to watch Summit. They wanted to be in that moment, right? And I feel like that's the best thing a streamer can do is create moments for their community. And so whenever you're making a big deal out of the streamiversary, hey, you're not making it about yourself. You're like, you guys did this for me. We made it to 5 years because of you guys. I'm a partner now because of you guys, whatever, right? Like, it's like when you went full time and people wanted to celebrate with you. You got all those gifted subs and stuff because people wanted to be a part of that moment with you.
Yeah,
Right?
That was
And
cool.
so, I mean, it's like, it's the reason why I streamed on my birthday, right? It's the reason why I celebrate that stuff. Not because like I want the donos or whatever. I mean, that's nice. But I think it's like continuing to make your community a part of your success. I feel like is crucial, at least in all 3 of us, our 3, stages of where we are at, right? Maybe a little bit less with you, 40, because you're, mainly leaning into the voice acting stuff.
Yeah.
But for streaming
then
especially.
when you're able to announce
True.
one
Yeah.
of the games that you're in,
Yeah, absolutely.
everyone's
I
gonna
take
be
it back.
super hyped for it,
Yeah,
right?
or like when you go to a convention or whatever, like you were talking about, you know?
Yeah, the conventions are the big things. Like the conventions are more of a detriment to your career than being in the booth itself is. And any successful voice actor will tell you that.
How
They really
so?
are. Well, it's I don't like talking about money, but they are where the money is made, and they're where the main exposure happens.
Gotcha.
Um, you can get more Twitter followers in person than you can on Twitter at conventions. There, man, it's you've got to be a guest at one to really understand it. It's so hard to explain because I'm so new to it still. But um, like I told you guys earlier, it's like, I didn't think anybody was going to show up for me at an anime convention, and then I had a line out the door. It's crazy. There's so much you learn, not only about like people that are your fans, but so much about yourself at these. Like, I discovered a lot about myself at this place, at this event, at this convention, whatever you want to call it. And I'm really glad I
Anything you
went.
want to share, or too personal, or
Um, I mean, it's not necessarily personal. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe it was just like more of like confirming like the kind of person I thought I was all along. Like how like I'm accepting of everybody. Despite your creed and all that kind of stuff. And it felt so. I've always been reclusive. I've lived alone for the last since late 2015. I've lived alone,
mm,
and for the most part, I've had jobs where I don't really communicate with people. Like I did pest control in that little downtime since I moved to Florida in 2015 until I started streaming full time in September 2017. And I just went to houses and sprayed houses and never talked to anybody. Then I started streaming. Then I work in my office and here all day, every day, and don't really talk to anybody. And it was weird going to this event and like being surrounded by all these people that, in a way, felt almost just like you.
Mm.
And
yeah,
man, I don't know. It's so hard to explain. It's really hard to put into words because I've never like had this feeling before. Because in the past, like when I was in college, when I was out of college, when I lived in different states, I was always a social butterfly. I was always going out to bars and doing karaoke nights and going to parties and stuff, and always being the life of the party, the class clown of the party. And when I moved to Florida, like it's like that part of me like stayed behind. Like I'm
mm,
so much of a different person now, and yeah, somehow going to this convention, I've been to it before. This was the second year. Somehow going to it just like really made me realize like how different I am now, and
yeah,
how important these things can be to careers where you are always, for a lack of better phrasing, always in the public eye. Like and being a streamer is the same thing too. At any point in time, somebody can look at your life, like what you're doing. Non-streamers, non-actors, non-voice, people that aren't
and
popular or famous don't
judge
know
it.
that. Yeah, and you can be judged at any time too. Yeah, it's I don't really know where I'm going with this, but yeah, man, it's
Do you
I
think
mean, that's
it's
how impactful it is. I can't really find words for it, like
do you think it's a lot of the time, at least for myself, is the comments that stick out the most are the negative ones. But when you're
always.
in person, it's the positive experience that sticks out the most.
When you're in person, there is no negative comments. At
There
least in
can
my
be, but
at
it's
least in my
rare.
experience.
It's
Yeah.
significantly more rare, right? No one's going to
Mm.
come up to you and tell you you're an asshole because what happens next? You're actually in person, right? What
Yeah.
you don't know what happens next, and the idea of that, I think, is what maybe keeps people from being more negative. But you then it brings all those positive uh comments that they were there the whole time. It just brings them all to the front. It's like the foam on
Yeah.
top of a beer or a soda or whatever. It's just like all rises to the top, and there's all those people yelling all those great things that you should have been hearing, but you couldn't hear because it was all negative.
Yeah.
Like
I guess
anytime I've been to like a bar citizen or a convention, like that's all those people come up to you and you're like, wow, they don't hate me.
yeah.
Everyone doesn't hate me. This is weird.
That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, it's so hard for me to convey things like that sometimes. I don't know why. It was so strange being surrounded by people that liked me.
Yeah.
Everybody liked me.
Because
Everybody
don't
there
you
liked me.
you feel while you're making content creation, you're surrounded by people that hate you when you're not,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
look at a YouTube video and look at how many comments, and then obviously look at how many negative versus positive. There's always more positive than negative. And
Always.
then but then look at how many people watched versus how many people commented. There's so many people that are just quietly enjoying your shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes those are the people that come and show up to those things. Right?
I was gonna say
Yeah,
my biggest supporter is a lurker. My biggest supporter is a lurker. I hardly ever talks, but
yeah, I guess mine is too, actually. Funny you say that.
yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I think that people are more likely to say something if it's negative. Maybe not in Twitch streams, but I think they still are more likely to say something, right? The trolls and people who don't like you, or they just say something that pisses you off or whatever. But man, I think that the people who are quietly sitting back and watching, just tuning in, oh, what's Mike up today? What's 40 up today? What's Berks up today? Whatever. Oh, what's 40 talking about on Twitter lately about this project, whatever. Those are the people who I feel like appreciate you the most. It's not the people who are like commenting on everything. They're, whatever. And sometimes there are super fans. Like I have a guy who, like you said, he's disappointed when I'm late. And he's in my stream before, like every day. I'm supposed to be going live at noon. He's in my stream every day before then. Like, where's Berks?
Bro, and they could be annoying.
He's like spamming the time, the emote, And I'm like,
it can be annoying, and it sucks to say, but it can be. It's
it
like
can be because you're like, man, I'm trying to, I just wanted to like put the dishes away before I started my stream. Chill. But but at the same time,
I'm honored.
You recognize how like, yeah, that person really likes you. It's cool.
Yeah.
You're like their day revolves around like you being there.
I get to be part of someone's life like that.
You're an important part. Yeah, you're an important part of their day.
In a positive way.
It's humbling.
Typically. Yeah, absolutely.
Super humbling.
And so, man, why people show up to my stream every day when I go live and talk to me about random BS when I play this broken ass game is unbelievable to me that I get to even, I do it full time. But somehow, it works, and it's because of people in the community. And like, it's because of people in the community that 40, you get to have experiences like you had at the convention,
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that that's the real takeaway is that, man, it's like, in the non-strangest way possible, if you're listening and like I'm not talking about us three, because I don't want to be weird, but if there's a creator out there that you love and you genuinely enjoy his or her content, let them know. You might just make their day, because it's like people like you who really push us through and really allow us to continue to love what we do every day. Like, because that sticks with us when people tell us stuff like that. Man, some of the things that are most memorable to me is like the people who I had someone DM me and they were just like, dude, like I'm really going through it and like you make my day better, and that means a lot to me that I'm able to like be an outlet for someone in a healthy way.
Those emails in the past, they're some of them are hard to take in, but at the end of the day, they're really positive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if you knew me way back in the day, Mike, but I think Berks did. I used to be a really big streamer. I was the 30 something fastest growing streamer on the platform for a year straight.
Yo,
and I used to have like 5,000 viewers a stream. My concurrent peak, I think, was somewhere around 19,000 for a few days back in 2018? No, 2019. That's when NoPixel did its 1.0 update, I think. And you get these emails from these poor, just lost people, and somehow they were lucky enough to, or you were lucky enough to be the beacon of light that they needed to not do something awful. And man, it's just like, what do you say? It's like, I'm just a guy playing video games yelling and I've saved your life. Like, that's wild to me,
Yeah.
But I mean, thank God it happened.
Yep.
That's just incredible. It really is.
And it's things like that are maybe sometimes hard to remember that's happening on a more regular basis than the comments that are maybe getting to you a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so hard to remain positive sometimes.
Dude,
it really is.
It is.
I don't know about you guys.
Lie and say it is. Like, it really is.
I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'll ban someone or like I'll tell someone off and they deserved it. But man, I'll still be thinking about it like all night after my stream.
Yeah. That's
And I
normal.
don't want to, man. I don't want to. It's not like I want to be thinking about it, but I guess 40, you relate to me on this. It's like I just will like
empathy, man.
yeah,
That's what
I'll just go through in my head. I'm like, maybe they meant something else, or oh, like, you know, like I just feel bad either for myself or for them or both, or it's just like I can't stop replaying it in my head because I guess like what you said, it's empathy, but it's sometimes they really deserve it.
Because I don't give a shit. If you got banned, bro.
See, I'm envious of you. I wish I had that mentality about it. I'd give anything to have that mentality about it.
Me too, honestly.
Instead of eating myself up all the time about like, oh, did I do this person wrong? Did I do that person wrong? Did I not do enough for this person? You know,
I'm fucked up. I hold a grudge. So like, I feel like if you wronged at any point, you're dead to me. That's the type of person I am.
Oh, I can hold a grudge. It's just not usually over shit like a Twitch chat message. You know what I mean?
Everything. For me, it's everything. It's definitely like my toxic trait, I would say.
Yeah.
Is I hold grudges over the stupidest shit.
I definitely have grudges against people from shit they said to me like 6 years ago, you know, but.
Bro, I made a comment about, I tweeted about like something we talked about a while ago on this podcast just now was the giveaway streams. I went down the Star Citizen directory. Top 10 streams all had giveaway in the title, and I just made it. Yeah, I just made a comment that was like, I don't think this is a good way to grow. Some shit like that, right? I was like,
the word I was looking for earlier was disingenuous.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this really is not the way to do it, dude. This isn't the way to do it. Then another streamer who has good viewers, does a lot of giveaways, but had other good content that he was doing as well, and was having success in the Star Citizen directory, thought I was subtweeting him. So then starts defending himself in the tweets below, and I'm not even paying attention. I don't care. And another streamer comes in and starts yelling at him, and they both start arguing under my tweet.
It was me. I was the one.
It wasn't.
No, I'm just kidding.
It wasn't. And I just was like, bro, this is so childish. Grow up. And those two are just dead to me.
Were you right? Were you talking about them though? See, now I got to know.
No, it wasn't me. No, it
honestly,
wasn't.
No, it was literally. I don't think I took a screenshot in the thing, but I remember putting it in my Discord. Like, look at this, dude. And none of those guys were live at the time. Neither
was that when everybody was doing reruns of that?
No,
something?
this was forever ago.
Dude, this is a while ago. Okay. This was like when I was like still fresh-ish on the scene. Yeah. Because giveaways haven't been a big deal for a while. And I would like to believe that that's partially because of me and you. I would like to believe because there was a long time where you could only be at the very tippity top if you're doing giveaways. But then people started to see that the top streamers, people at the very tippity top, weren't doing giveaways, you know? And slowly, I think the category started to change. But I don't know. I don't know if that was just us or what, but...
No, you could have had more of an impact on that than you think, trust me.
Maybe. I know, but with these specific guys, like I rated one of them recently, and I was like, you know, I told him about it, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I tried to like learn from it. And then he ended up doing a bunch of dumb shit, making himself look stupid anyway. And it was just like, why did I even bother?
God, was it me?
Shit. No, it wasn't you. I'll tell you after.
I'm always
the stream.
Doing stupid shit, man.
I'll tell you after the podcast or whatever. But
you got me. I've got to know now, man. Jeez.
Yeah, it was just goofy shit. But in the end, I think that is like my worst toxic trait. Is like if you cross me even a little bit, you're dead to me.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's the podcast, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely dead to me. But we had a podcast where like I did something shitty to Berks and he gave me the benefit of the doubt.
Oh my
God.
We're friends. Yeah, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I
love when friendships start like that. You started as like enemies or something, and then like you're best friends a year later. That's an amazing story.
It's not quite what happened. I just said something like kind of out of context and stupid, but like looking back, like it was not a good thing to say at all. And he like Berks was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" But like gave me the benefit of the doubt after.
I mean, I almost did to you what you're talking about you did to those guys, which was just move you to the shelf of like, this guy's dead to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not good at holding grudges, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't, because I really enjoyed our friendship, dude. So yeah, I would definitely be in a worse spot without you in my life. So not to get all sappy, but yeah. So
turn around.
Anyways,
turn around,
close,
41.
yeah, I was gonna say, close your eyes, 40.
At least you didn't just find out you had something stuck in your teeth the whole podcast, so that's great.
Oh, dude, I had an everything bagel, so I probably
I feel
did
like
too.
the camera could see it the whole time too. I'm embarrassed. Cut me out. This is canceled.
Oh man!
All right, we're starting over.
This week's podcast is going to be.
2.
Oh god! This week's podcast is Berks, Mike, enemies or lovers?
Didn't you guys do one like that already?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did.
Oh, okay. I was gonna.
That
say.
was
Just kidding.
That was the one where
No, this one's about you,
I found
brother.
out the story. That was the one where I
Yep.
found out the story of
Yep.
this. I didn't even know I had done.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love when stuff
Yeah.
like that happens, though.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's cool.
But cool, dude. Well, I think this is the question I want to, I guess, end on for you, 40, which is,
Yeah, sure.
if there's someone out there who, you know, is, I guess, getting into content creation or voice acting, like, is there any inspiration for them that you'd give them, or like direction, or like what would you tell someone who's like, man, I'm trying to get into voice acting, and I'm looking for help? Would you just tell them it's hopeless, or would you tell them, like, where would you send them?
The problem with that question is there's not much I can say that hasn't already been said by titans of the industry. You know,
Sure.
everything I've heard any of them say is absolutely true. And a lot of it is very similar to streaming. You know how streaming is. You either got to be first or the best, and everybody's late. Voice acting it's not 90%, but it's up there. It's very much the right place at the right time. But at the same time, like we said earlier, you can make your own luck. You absolutely can. You know, John Swayze that did the voice for a Dodoria and 200 other characters in Dragon Ball and other animes, told this great story a year ago about this fan came up to him and said, "Hey, John, you know, I just did this acting course. It took 8 weeks. You know, now what?" And John told him, he said, "Go take it again." And the guy did. He went and took it again, and then came back a year later and told John, "Hey, I took the course a second time and I did even better. Now what?" John told him to go take it again the third time. And it's like you can hone your skill and be the best voice actor in the world. And I'm sure the best voice actor in the world isn't discovered yet. It's all about making yourself discoverable to the point to where that luck really can, before you can just, you know, get the fish on the hook, honestly. It's like, it's about fishing in the right spot. You don't know that underneath that tree, you're going to catch a 10-pound world record smallmouth bass. You don't know that, but you're putting your lure there to try. Right. I mean, sorry for the fishing analogies. It's kind of a big thing,
man. I like it. I think that's good.
It's more luck than it is effort, but you won't get the luck without the effort. Let me just put it that way, I guess. Like I said, I used to be really bad with drinking. I quit. I'm almost 4 months sober now.
Congrats.
Thank you. Drunk at 3:00 in the morning, made a post on Reddit, directed at Nikita, Battle State Games. Just so happened the next night he was drunk at 3 a.m. and said, let's try it. Fuck it. And then 2 or 3 months later, I'm in the game, you know? If more often than not, the first idea that pops in your head is probably the best one you're going to come up with. I think that's a scientific fact, actually. And so if you get an idea to pop in your head, you know what? I'm going to go to this place and just walk around and just introduce myself to people at this event and see if it helps. If that's your first thought, go do it. You never know. I didn't think a fucking Reddit thread was gonna jumpstart a career for me. I just did it off a whim, thinking it was a dumb idea while I was doing it, and then boom, and one of the biggest shooters ever made.
Yep.
So, whatever you think might be your jumpstart opportunity, do it. Make your own luck. Make yourself available to that luck. Don't ruin your life doing it, but chase it.
Yeah. I saw a video one time. It was supposed to be like, you know, getting your life together, inspirational. And they said something that really stuck with me. And it was that if you want results that is unlike anyone else, you have to work. You have to do things that are unlike anyone else. So don't do the thing that's normal. Don't do the thing that's ordinary. send the Reddit post at 3 a.m. like you're saying. Go talk to the people at the convention. Go, apply for 100 different jobs. Because you know what? There are people out there who say they want to voice act, say they want to stream, say they want to YouTube, and they're not doing anything to work towards it.
They wait for that person to fall through the roof.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
bro, do you know how many people I've been telling in the Star Citizen space, like, on my little Star Citizen podcast, every time I had a guest, I would always be like, "Do you making YouTube videos?" Because they, most of them would be streamers, and they'd be like, no, I'm focusing on streaming, blah, blah. And I'm like, if you're focusing on streaming, why aren't you making YouTube videos? Right? Like,
yeah.
in the last year for me, that's been the biggest difference for me, and it was it. I remember, like, my React channel was never supposed to be a React channel. It was supposed to be like a live stream highlights. And it was just supposed to be like a little advertising channel for, like, this is what my Twitch stream's about. Come and watch it. And then it is what my Twitch stream is about now, just watching other videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But that is what changed. Like, I went from that little kid making fun of how many viewers I had to now they take my only 200 emote and type it twice and 3 times and add it together to make jokes about how many viewers I have now.
Your React channel is how I found you. I didn't find you through your main channel. You reacted like one of my videos. That's how I found you.
Yep. Every day.
You tore me to shreds. But at the end of the video, I'm like, I like this guy. No, I needed it. Sometimes people need to be told when they suck at something. It could be a good thing. Trust me.
I know, but at the same time, that's never like.
It was a terrible video. You were 100% right. It was awful, and I was huffing copium. There was nothing. You didn't say anything wrong. Nothing wrong was said, so there's no reason to apologize.
I know, but at the same time, when you're there doing it, you remember what we talked about the convention?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it to your face. Right?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why people don't say things to people's face, and a lot of them are obvious.
Yeah.
Fear is usually the biggest reason why people
Sure,
Yeah.
but it's more of like, that's not me. Like, that's not my personality. Like, when I'm watching a video, it feels like that's not the person that's there. You know what I mean?
Right, because
It's
you're creating a
different.
video that's made in a certain style to be a certain way. It's definitely a different dynamic than just telling somebody your shit sucks in real life. You're
Yeah.
being creative and critical at the same time, which is it's a style of video. I don't think there's anybody that's a reasonable person that would think that that's unreasonable.
Yeah, I guess.
Or even try to draw like a correlation of like, you should be that same asshole in real life and see if you can get away with it.
Yeah.
I think reasonable people think that way.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
mean,
maybe
yeah. I don't know. I'm definitely not doing it on purpose. That's for sure. It's just whatever comes to my mind at that time. I'm one of those weird people that's like really brutally honest and to a fault.
Here's the deal, Mike, is like, you've clearly created an audience out of being real, and being genuine on these topics, right?
Mhm.
And I would even say, like, you've definitely like started to like, we were like head to head for a long time, and I personally think that you're starting to like clearly overtake me on viewership. No, seriously, like my viewership, viewership,
blasphemous, man, and Smashly, you're climbing, Mike. He's right.
Yeah, it's like I definitely am like kind of like low mid, and then you're like 100 or 2 viewers higher than me some days, right? And so
some days, but why? Like, I know we were kind of like doing towards the end, so I'll do this as quickly as possible. Why? We are in the boring dead time for Star Citizen where nobody cares about, but so that's where I can be a little bit more engaging because I'm doing more content that's just talking about the situation that we're in.
Creating a dialogue when there isn't any dialogue.
Exactly. Whereas your content that you do is mostly focused on playing the game, and when a new patch comes out, when
let's see
there
what
is
happens.
content,
The new patch.
well, yeah, where I'm like this, you go like this, right? That you'll guaranteed.
Yeah.
So
I think
let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Perfect example. Him and I played the other day.
Mhm.
He's already live. I finished streaming, and I come back on to play with him after eating lunch. I think I never cracked 100 viewers, right? I was like just above 100 or something.
Mhm. I never
because
do. I never break 100 anymore.
Dude, if I went live, it's 9:30.
Because we were playing the game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's 9:30 my time right now. If I went live right now, I mean, I'd probably have half the viewership I typically have. You know,
Sure.
like you're not in your prime time. You know what I mean? There's a lot working against you whenever you're not going live.
I think it's because our content was focused on playing. Right. And that's your strong point, where my strong points are coming up right now. And then it all balances
All right,
out.
bro. Well, hey, listen, we're going to do a react off then, okay? I'll react to a video. We're going to pick one of 40's videos. I react to it. No, I'm just kidding.
And we'll see who wins. The ultimate battle.
Dude, I do need a post.
Come on, you have to do it now. You can't say something like that.
Let's go. Dude,
Yeah.
I really, well, my react channel, dude, is like in shambles. I have one video posted on it. It was like a month ago. I need to hire like a second editor just for reacts, honestly.
Bro, no, you don't. Holy shit.
Dude, yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Bro,
No,
you don't
That's
understand,
so crazy.
Mike. You don't understand.
I don't understand.
For reacts,
literally-
Berks, no, I can show you how to do it, man. It's easy.
No, I know, but it's like, I know it's just like you highlight in and out and then you download it and upload. I know, but then it's the thumbnail and then uploading it you have to deal with, right? And my upload speed's slow, Mike. My upload speed's really slow. And so it's like
Come
a
on,
whole
Berks, don't
nother
you know the new
hurdle.
method?
What?
Berks, you don't know the new method of making thumbnails, man?
It's just
Wait.
what?
Come on, bro.
He's whipping out his phone. This is
Come
some
on.
AI shit.
Come on, Chat GPT, bro. It's easy.
There you go.
It's easy. I got this thing set up to resend emails once a month to developers that
my
ignore me when
God.
I offer to be in their game.
Yo, let's
Nice.
go, bro.
There are some things AI can do that's good other than stealing people's voices.
Oh my God, bro. Listen, and we can't even talk about that because we'll be here for another hour. But man,
I probably should have said
We'll
something
have to-
earlier about that.
no, it's all
We'll have to
good,
have
man.
another
That's how you
podcast.
want
Yeah,
it
we'll
to.
have to have you on again, honestly, is what we'll have to
There
do.
you
Yeah,
go.
hey, and definitely ask the viewers to type in the comments if they'd like to see me on again too. That'd be
Yeah,
good.
listen, if
That'd
you
be
guys
cool.
are still listening, we definitely freaking appreciate you being a part of the stream, being a part of the community. Super glad to have 40 here on the stream with us. We're going to have his Twitter and his links.
Can you tell he's mostly a streamer?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He said on the stream.
Oh, yeah. Well, on the
Yeah, you did.
podcast. Sorry about
I
that.
didn't want
guys.
to. I'm glad
You know what I
Mike
mean.
said it because I didn't want to be that
I-
guy.
Hey, listen,
No,
you
I'll
assholes.
always be that guy.
Well, on the podcast, right? And we're gonna have his information down below. You guys can check him out yourself. Super great guy. He's gonna have his email down there. If you need any voice acting work, I want to reach out to him. I'm sure you can get connected to him or his agent and do so. But we freaking appreciate you guys.